Let's call the meeting to order. Everyone stand for the pledge. Roll call, please. Here.
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 Okay. Approval of July 6th meeting minutes. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of the July 20, 2023 public hearing minutes. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of July 20, 2026 special meeting minutes. Motion. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're gonna move on to the employee report. First, I'll read my report. I had a team meeting today with Adam and Amy with Cobalt Side Development regarding the property on one of the north sides. We wanted a meeting to discuss our comprehensive plan and where we're at with that. Just heard from Adam after a presentation. I remember I came to council a few months ago asking what you wanted to see our comprehensive plan. And I relayed that to them. I also indicated our residents about the geographers or medical officers out there. We're going to reach out to the property owner, possibly come to our September council meeting. So I also discussed what they have to do with our residents. We will be back in session soon. I asked our village administrator to have our street department go out and do the crosswalk. The school on the road, also the maintenance on the electronic crosswalk. We've had over the last school year, we've had received many complaints regarding speed and stop sign and accidents with buses, etc. We've been working on a thorough site of our help with that. We did purchase two electronic systems. We test them out. Make them cheaper. Another one, so far, I haven't received any complaints. Not really they work. I feel like they're really right. So we'll go definitely. The feed opportunities were through the end of the month. Presentations by ODOT and about information regarding new situations all over the village to account for the high traffic volumes are. Cars, trucks, motorcycles. All static. Okay, thank you. Want me to pause? Okay. Also, I have a meeting here tonight. I have a plan in case for the zoning study commission. Update on approval to share some and after I asked if someone on council to present it, and that's our code does not call for me to ask for a person to present in 2019. Our city code is not either, but I feel it's important to work with council as a team. Farmers market will be this Saturday, 10 to 1. The raffle recipient is called Maddie Spark Foundation. It's a 501c3. Maddie and her family are actually residents of this community, so we're excited to help her foundation. Food truck, which was a huge success. Vince Club had to bring out more tables for us. So I wanted to go through and I wanted to thank Steve Baker, president of the Men's Club, Bill Weber, Bill Yeager, Ralph Wolf, Jared Carr, Landon Carr, Chuck Markham, Al Hart, Rick Taylor, Alan Goldhart, Paula Baldwin, Ken Britt, and Gina Britt. Without everyone working together, these events could not be that, so I really appreciate it. The bounce houses were a huge hit, so thank you. The kids loved it. The car show and concert will be August 8th. I'm sure Jim, since he's here, I'm gonna leave that for him to discuss. Up next is the council computers. The resolution that's on your agenda to move money is to be purchased. I did send the link that Zeke sent us to our IT company, and that computer that he just wouldn't be sufficient. It was missing some programs, but he did send me one that is best used for everyone here. So we're going to create a business account because at Best Buy you can only get 2 laptops at a time. So we're going to create a business one and hope that they have that here with us. And last, I just want to ask Dustin if you would put on the cow agenda on the 17th NDAs. That is all I have. All right, Village Lister. Police chief is not here. Village administrator, do you have anything for the zoning? Do you want to speak about that too, or
I
give you
did
anything?
not.
Okay.
I know he was working on some things today.
Mhm.
We talked about a couple things, but I don't have any specifics. Good evening, all.
Hello.
I'll jump right into it, save some time. So first part of August, first part of July, we did Walker Point crack sealing. Very good report on that. Basically, it was all of the older part of Walker Point. And so that should buy us about 3 to 5 years. We would have to do a complete width reseal. And then we're going to talk about doing Chestnut Commons next year. Because it's just almost bad. For folks that live out in Walker Point, we have switched no parking signs on a portion of Alberta Drive. And the only reason to do that was we had 2 sections of road from Heidish Road to Walker Point Drive that had no parking signs on the same side of the road that all the driveways were and all the mailboxes. So we were having issues and complaints from folks that were parking out there and they could not receive their mail. So in order to rectify that, we flipped everything over and allowed them to park on the opposite side of the road and free up the area where there was sidewalk, or excuse me, the mailboxes in the driveways. So that the carrier can get it. So
Is there anything in that statute that we have to do anything procedurally? Or can
no,
we
I
just
checked
flip
into
side?
that. So
Just make sure there wasn't an enforcement problem.
So at first I was like, well, I can't do that. I'm not a traffic engineer. So, but our code says that I can do that, and I don't know if that's, normal or not.
That's what our code says.
That's what our code says, that I can do it as long as I get the recommendation of our village engineer, who did, and talk to the fire department and the police department, get their blessing on it, which I did. So
Appreciate it.
whether or not that's a normal situation in other communities, I don't know.
Thank you.
But it is in this one. We've got a lot of private utilities out on 104 making progress on stuff for Andover. We've got fiber optics out there going in. We've got electric poles going in. So understand that there's going to be a lot of activity on 104 from the county line south. One thing I did want to bring up on the street department, we've talked about this internally a little bit. We've had an increasing interest in activity in painting house numbers on curbs. Have you noticed anything about that?
Yeah, there's some really nice ones.
So there is some really nice ones, however, so we've had some conversations about that here. There's a couple different things, and I think maybe it's something you ought to talk about at the CAL meeting. whether or not you want to allow that, number one, or do you want to regulate? Or let it just go free, so to speak. Concern from my standpoint is if we don't regulate it at some point, there may be some things put on the curbs that maybe we don't want.
Have a blood in the Crips or something?
I don't know. But, so there's some things to think about. The other thing is, if we have somebody out there that's putting money into the curb painting and they've got money out of pocket, and we go in there and we scratch up the paint and plow snow or whatever, are we responsible? I'd rather not.
Bill?
Nothing that has to be answered tonight.
So I'm assuming there's currently nothing that addresses that one way or the other. Okay.
Yeah, right.
I have one.
But would you expect them to? And
No.
I'm not meaning to call you out. I love yours.
No, no.
Um,
Yeah, that's actually who's one I said
But
I didn't know that was yours.
I mean, you got yours done. Would you expect if the plow scraped it up that the village would repay? I mean, I'm just.
I mean, I think we were defacing something inside of a public easement. So if I
You said it.
if it got damaged, I think I would be liable for it, not the village. But that's me. I mean, I was sitting here thinking, listening to him, like, oh man, I hope he's not putting ideas in people's heads. So
Well, I did a little bit of research on this, and it's like, well, there's some communities out there that are banning it completely. There are some that is encouraging it,
yeah,
but I can also see it going the other way. Don't regulate it somehow.
I mean, yours is very tasteful, though. I see him in Asheville all the time, like yours too.
yeah.
With just
It's the
house
same guy that
number
does a
and
lot of
the-
them.
Yeah, it's just the house number, and you have the Viking logo, right?
Yeah, and OSU.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
can see like controversial
Sure.
professional football teams or whatever from the neighbors across the street, and all of a sudden we got a war.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's,
Or a spirited discussion.
Yeah.
It depends on how you look at it.
or we,
Sergeant Oroki might not want either one of them, though.
So I can just, anytime you have anything that is out there, you never know what you're going to do. So I felt it, something to bring up.
you haven't seen any examples yet of anything that's kind of profane or pushing the border.
I didn't see anything like that. I saw a good regulation up in northeastern Ohio of a town that did that. And they actually spelled out how high the numbers would be and what size, but as far as what was on it, didn't go that far.
Okay.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm surprised that some of the HOA regulations that it currently doesn't exist somewhere in the HOA regulations.
And it's very
But-
possible.
Justin, that was the thought.
I mean,
It was just like with one of the other things, Bill had said, that's really more of an HOA thing, not a legislation thing. And that was the thought as to why it wasn't but when it happened, their talk was
Right.
that let the HOAs worry about the pretty stuff. Let's worry about the money stuff.
And I'm not too concerned about that either. It's one extra thing we've got to deal with.
but you can see where the confluence can happen
I
right there.
can,
At that, if
but I
it's
can
damaged
also
or
see Mike and Zach out there with a snowplow getting a little close at midnight. And then all of a sudden we've got a rapid phone call.
No, wait a minute. I don't know if you've actually ever woke up overnight they're not going to be that close overnight, because haven't you heard there's always 4 feet at the end of the driveways? I mean,
That's another conversation. But so that's kind of where we are with that. And, just basically, if you don't do something with it, it might get out of you. Anyhow, it's worth a conversation for all of you. And I've got some information I can share and go on email.
would you mind doing that for the next cow? I'll make sure I put it on the
Sure.
agenda and we can have that conversation.
Sure,
and see
absolutely.
when this
I've
period-
got a couple good examples of other villages that have done something. Looks like it would be pretty good.
Since you were looking into the code around those no parking signs in the Walker Point, do you know, and you may not know off the top of your head, it might be a better question for Susan, but I was led to believe that the reason that we have those is because the streets within Walker Point aren't wide enough to accommodate two cars parking on either side of the street. How wide would the streets need to be? Because I guess we must have allowed it in our code at one point to. It's probably the minimum permissible width that we allow over there, right?
I would say at least 36. Usually your parking lanes are 8 feet.
Okay.
Travel lanes, typically they're 12. Go down.
Okay.
But I think the no parking, all of that was being discussed, it was for the emergency. For the fire trucks. We had parking on both sides, and there was the issue of a fire truck and the car had to pass. I think that was more of why the village elected to put no parking on both sides.
Okay.
And emails from the school as well, the transportation department.
But it wasn't in every neighborhood, so there are some neighborhoods that don't have it, right? So
There are a few out there that are like outliers.
okay.
The
So
only one is West Side of Green. All the other ones have one side of parking.
do you know how wide the streets are over there?
Chestnut.
We've got blueprints for it and everything.
Okay.
I can find out. Usually it's pretty typical of where the developer would put in. Obviously they don't want necessary on the tape.
Yeah.
So they usually stick with
Okay.
Can I ask?
Yeah, I'm done.
So from a technical review standpoint, since you're both engaged in this, is that some standard that we could change in our zoning text or our PRD as a hard fast? We don't want people to think they're only buying a house they can't park in front of. So can we say, yeah, we know you don't want to spend any more on paving, but my God, we're gonna have parking.
You can.
If they want to have a motorhome there to park,
Yeah, you can
to
set
load
the
it, they
standards.
can't.
Yeah, you can set the standards.
Would it be improper for you two to work together for those standards so that maybe you could educate us so that then we could change the zoning so that we never have to have one-sided street parking again?
That's a great suggestion, Eric. I really
You know,
like that.
I mean, I'm just thinking globally.
Yeah, and the other thing to consider there is a lot of cities don't have road or mail routes that road.
Right, they walk, right.
We don't have that because we have literally 4 zip codes in our
Oh, yeah, 113. Yeah, or, yeah. So I guess just for you guys to think about while you're doing this, we have collectively, at least over the last 4 to 6 years, seems like we want to require less houses per acre, but the only way to do that is to change it because we go on net developable land instead of gross. With the calculation taking it back to gross, but demanding the wider roadway, get us to maybe instead of 3.6 houses per acre, but it's helping the village. And since we seem to have a plethora of people wanting to come build here, they would know that ahead of time that it might say 4, but we're not going to budge below this even in a PRD. It's just hard set. And this would be something we probably need to do very quickly.
Well, and I'll throw something else in the mix too. We have, and I've had comments from several residents. The way the economy is now, there's a lot of families that have adult children still at home and they have cars. That increases the parking load on our subdivisions.
In our area, the statistics, 4.2 cars per residential house is average in northern Pickaway County right now. So we're putting 2 in the garage, 2 in the driveway, but some of our developments, the driveways aren't long enough. So their trunks hanging over the sidewalk and these guys are doing their job writing tickets on Christmas Eve, I think I heard.
Garages, things except for cars.
Right. So, I mean, if we can help facilitate that in the beginning, it's going to make it easier on these guys. It's going to make it easier on the residents. And And the developer's gonna, if they come in and ask, whoever's sitting up here just sees, look, this is our standard, we ain't changing.
Well, that's something that we're gonna do because we're getting ready to switch over to City of Columbus and ODOT specs now.
Oh, okay.
So you gotta pay attention to that. if you're gonna do that.
I mean, I will volunteer to spend whatever hours, you know, if council's okay with it, to work with you if you need help. But I think it's something we need to do because if we're gonna change the direction, we're gonna have to start at the very basics. I mean, does that sound doable or is that asking too much out of the two of you?
Well, we'll take a look at what we have now. We don't know until we see what we got now. What the options are.
So will our road classifications change? Is that the point of going to Columbus or?
No, just with our construction specifications,
Okay.
be a lot simpler if we were referencing. Where we just went through the activity of trying to update specs, but it catch everything. Point them to Columbus, which gets updated on a regular occurrence by Columbus.
Correct.
We know it's always current. And then if there's a few items that
Right.
the village wants specifics,
Specifics,
Maybe
like fire
guardrails.
hydrants or whatever.
Right, okay.
Something like that.
we can do that.
So my only one question, and this might be to you two and Bill, is it might not matter when it comes to infrastructure. Is Columbus a charter city or they at, because I have found historically, Commercial Point uses New Albany and Grove City, which are charter cities. So when we take part of their laws, if we don't take the entirety, it's not the same governmental structure. So how theirs comes isn't to the ORC, it's to their government.
Well,
So I just want to make sure that it's, doesn't have anything to do with charter.
This isn't accepting all their laws. This is accepting like, I want a certain specification of height,
Okay.
that type of.
So we're gonna use theirs as a reference to make ours, not just straight adopt it, but it'll be use theirs until we figure out our niche per se.
Correct,
Yeah.
yes.
There's a lot of things that they have teams of engineers on the City of Columbus. That's their whole job. Is to update that.
So Bill, do we need to do a resolution for them to use that while they're going through it?
We're not ready.
Well, but I mean, so that we're not reactive and everybody can know.
We're getting to the point where we're finalizing everything. Between Susan and John and I and Mike. And then once we get all that, then we can say we're ready, to accept these because we have some of our specifications in the zoning code we've got to get out of that.
Okay.
But we gotta have our new ones in place first.
Right.
So our zoning would match City of Columbus?
No. that's not what I'm
Only
saying.
some of their specifications for like pipe, how long under, how much underground, how much gravel, what size gravel, if there has to be
For
sand.
some reason, some of our construction specifications ended up in our zoning.
Right.
And they shouldn't be.
Okay.
They need to be their own administrative function so that if we need to change them, we're not changing the zoning code or going through council to do that. It's a simple administrative function because City of Columbus changes their construction specs about twice a year. And they always post the updates.
So it's like just base like construction material requirements for,
That's all it
okay.
is.
And that's why we have some ponds here that don't have the big riprap all the way around.
Sure.
Because it's mentioned in zoning and it's
Staff
mentioned,
meeting, talk about it at the staff meeting.
it's mentioned two places and it's different.
Okay.
So we just need to consolidate.
Got it.
Reconcile.
Just a quick update. I'll let Susan talk about Chestnut Commons in the stormwater retention basin. The issue we had with the Scioto Crossing Creekview Drive backyard flooding, that's been resolved. happily.
Nice.
They were very happy.
Yes.
Extremely
everything is good. We've got everything in place and hopefully everything works well.
And that was because all three worked together to get it done or?
Well, engineers that worked for DR Horton came in, engineered the resolution. So, and then we basically had to accept it as a improvement that we will maintain. Brush bags.
Awesome. Thank you.
As far as the well field, we pumped up well number 7 to 800 gallons a minute, 1.1 million gallons a day, so that worked out well. We're still continuing to do that and make improvements with our well field east of the river, so we can get everything set for the improvements at the water plant. EDG is finishing up some modeling, engineering, and studies to make sure that the Walker Road lift station and our trunk main sewer from Walker Road to the wastewater plant is going to be sized appropriately. This is not engineering for that, but this is simply to tell us how big it needs to be. Okay. Really pushing.
Are we pushing for the growth, or are we pushing for the bigger size?
Bigger size to accommodate. And frankly, it's like 10 years too late.
Oh, absolutely.
One other thing I wanted to point out, the Ohio EPA is almost done with their finishing up their approval on the state 208 plan, which is basically sets our service area for our sewers. So once they get that to the governor for his approval, then it will be submitted to the US EPA. Once that takes place, then it will be locked in. Now we can amend that at any time, but it's important that we get the first one in there on time so that we can get it. And the last thing I want to mention is that we are going to have Great Lakes RCAP, which is a rural community assistance program. They did a rate study for us for user fees back in 2017. They're going to come in and do another user rate study for us next week, starting next week. I don't know what the timeline of that's going to be to get that finished, but we're going to start that process. Okay. Any questions on anything? I know that was a lot.
The switchover of the rental properties,
Yes.
is that going to, are we gonna regulate that we can't have anybody making profit if they have a multi-unit house, if they have the master meter, or is that gonna open up a problem like in Grove City where you've got people with $400 water bills because their landlord charges them whatever they want off of one master meter?
Well, we don't allow master meters, number one. Every unit has to have a meter. Okay, there is no reselling of water. So that would eliminate all that. The only thing that we want to make sure of is that if you have a house that you rent out, that account is in your name, not the renter's.
Why is that?
Well, there's a new law coming into effect. It's not completely final yet, but basically it would eliminate us. Help me out, Wendy, if I did it wrong. It would eliminate us from shutting off any renter, and it also makes you liable as the owner for that debt. So that if the renter skips town or whatever, then it becomes your responsibility to pay that.
And the thought process is that would stop an empty house from getting shut off, busting or backing up. So it would actually remove an issue for Commercial Point preemptively.
That could work in that.
Makes sense. I just needed to internalize it. Thank you.
Any questions on anything? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Village engineers report.
Thank you. Good evening. Just a couple updates. Dave did mention Chestnut Commons and the project that we have there. Plans are finalized. We're working on the bidding docs now. Then the project can go out to bid, so solicit for contractors. That's about a 30-day process to get contractor bids and to issue an award. I know there was concern, Sycamore Street, that's the road where we're replacing the storm that's underneath. We will not be closing that road. We will always,
I had a phone call today.
we will always maintain one lane of traffic. Work on one side, plate it, and work on the other. Yeah, we will not be closing that road. Belshazzar, that project, we're kind of at a bit of a pause. I think maybe last time I mentioned, we had a discussion with Water Superintendent, Administrator Riley, about the water line. Village would like to replace the water line that's under Belshazzar as well. We also then discussed about maybe including an additional portion to the project, continuing it further north to Front Street, the kind of funky five-legged intersection with multiple stop signs, to see if there are any options to improve the traffic flow a little more conducive for motorists. I believe this will be on the discussion for Thursday's staff meeting, just to ensure we fully understand the village's desire and scope moving forward. Then we can make those changes to the plans and get that ready. So that will not be obviously constructed until next year. It's too late at this point. In terms of plan reviews, the only one that is still outstanding would be the Commercial Point Plaza, and that's the Mexican restaurant. They did resubmit, reviewed the plans. Fortunately, a lot of the comments we had previous were not addressed. So we gave those back to them, asking for a response. Hopefully, I know they want to get going, so hopefully we get a quick turnaround. Everything has been addressed, taken care of, and we can get them on their way. That's it. Any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you. Administrator's not here. Fiscal officer?
The only thing I have is the audit is getting ready to wrap up. I have one more item that I'm working on with the auditors, so that is coming to a close. The only other thing I've been working on is public records requests. I've bombarded with them. So coming up, there's a couple quite large ones that we're working through that you're probably going to see mine and Paula's cars here after hours, because we're getting so many of them, we can't even get our regular everyday stuff done. So we'll probably be working mostly working some overtime. You just see our cars here for a couple of days. That's it.
Will the new administrative assistant be helpful with dealing with that kind of stuff?
Is that person in here and up to speed? Yeah, they would be. Absolutely.
Perfect.
Okay, now we're gonna move on to legislative reports. Eric?
Nothing.
Yeah, I met with Patricia, the mayor, and Susan to discuss the retention pond legislation, and really I got some really helpful feedback from Susan and one of Susan's associates. So just got some more notes regarding that from Susan today. So I think that given that feedback, my notes from our meeting, I should have some updates to that legislation. And I think that the working plan at this point is to then resubmit those to Susan and make sure that the not overstepping into engineering territory that I don't belong, and then hopefully we can get something out. I would like to hopefully have something to present to everybody by next month is my hope. So that's all I have to say about that.
Dustin?
The only thing I have is I passed these out with the passing of the planning commission legislation last month. I just put together a proposed timeline for the selection process. Again, initial thoughts and direction. Hand this out so that way if there's any feedback before the COW, I can make any minor adjustments that's suggested. And then we can have a discussion at the COW. That way we can set forth on how we move forward with this selection process. So take a look with that process, and then if there's any questions or suggestions, let me know.
Dave, a copy of this?
I did not, but I can.
Yes, since he's on there.
Yes.
Courtney,
Nothing.
Patricia,
I don't have anything.
Jay,
No.
Land Use Committee,
Yeah. We didn't have a meeting last month. Didn't I? That's on me. I didn't get the. I did not get the agenda out timely, and so the decision was made to cancel last month's meeting. I reached out to, or attempted to reach out to the two stakeholders that we had invited. So I'm going to be a lot better about that. I'm hoping to get something out by Wednesday at least. So if you hear back from those people, you know, but we can always add up until the, you know, the day before or take off. So just let me know. But that, yeah, nothing to report other than that. So.
all right, we're gonna move on to public comments. Dave Horning. Want to remind everybody, you have 5 minutes to speak. Council will not answer questions. There is a time during the agenda that they can answer that. And your name and address, please.
I'm Dave Horning, 569 Plaza Drive in Circleville, and I thank the council for letting me speak here. I'm just coming here today to share with you my opinion on a topic of economic development. It's something I've been working on or covering for last year as an editor of the Circleville Herald. I would report that I am no longer the editor of the Circleville Herald. They had a major organizational restructuring across the state of Ohio last Friday, and they cut down 5 positions. My position was eliminated. So that only goes to reinforce that I'm here speaking as an individual. I'm just sharing my opinion on the subject of economic development. I have one goal here in mind today. I want to strongly encourage you as a council to join forces with Pickaway Progress Partners, P3 as they're called. P3 is a 501c3 organization. It's a nonprofit. Donations to this organization are tax deductible. And being a member allows you to attend their executive meetings and find out the inside scoop on what's going on in the county. I'm not a representative of P3 either. I'm not here at their beck and call or anything like that. I'm just sharing you, as I've gone over the past year, what I've learned. I've got 3 articles. I'm going to give a copy of you what I've found. And one thing I've learned about the economic development industry is it's not pretty. Noon Rotary, they had a speaker come in who was invited by Brian Hill of P3. He was from Montrose. And he was talking about economic development. He was talking about how he was proud to represent a developer coming into the city and doing a project. And it confused me because I thought, well, do you also work for the village? And he said, oh yeah, we can work for the village or we can work for the developer, either one. Depends who gets there first. So this can sometimes create confusion. You know, we think that these people are working for us, the village or the people, and they may not at all be that way. When I grew up in the 1960s, my father always hated real estate. He just hated it because back in the 60s, the rule was all of the agents worked for the seller. So if you had a friend who was a realtor and you got in the car and you drove around and you helped to buy a home, in the 1960s, that agent would tell the seller, yeah, he said he'd go as high as $180,000 on that house. Everybody was an agent of the seller and nobody was an agent for the buyer to help the buyer. And that changed in 1980 for the better. And now we have buyer brokerage. I think that's good. In the 1980s, the rules for agency are obedience. You obey the law, your loyalty. When a person is your agent, and this is why joining P3 would be good, they would become your agent for the village of Commercial Point. They're loyal to you. That's your loyalty first. Their disclosure. They'll disclose to you everything that's going on in the county. Well, or without that, they don't have to. They owe you confidentiality. So if you have confidential information, they will not share it with anybody else. So these you want these economic development agencies to be agents for you. And I've heard some big names around Columbus, like One Columbus, the Columbus Partners. Who are they working for? I mean, the governor of DeWine was pretty clear when he gave sales tax abatements to the data centers that he was working for the data centers, and just everybody in the state was lined up behind them to work for the data centers and not the village. Senior centers are extremely profitable. A rule of corporate finance is generally there's a 10% after-tax return on investment required of an investment. So if a data center comes in and they kind of brag about, hey, we're going to put $1 billion investment into your village. Well, they got to make 10% of that, or about $100 million a year. So when EdgeConneX came to Asheville for the first time, they had a problem with their wastewater and drinking water problem. They needed $14 million to fix that. And EdgeConneX says, well, that's great. We'll help you do that. And so everyone's real thrilled about that. And then the village council voted it down. So EdgeConneX came back with a $176 million offer. And so that shows how the original offer left $162 million on the table. And I just think that it would be in the best interest to have the P3 on your fighting side. I've got a copy of 3 articles that I wrote when I was the editor of the Circle Herald, and I'm going to share them with each of you. You can take one, pass these down. I only have 8 copies, so Nancy, if you'll make one for Paul, I'd appreciate it.
Sure.
But that's all. I just want to. My recommendation is that you join P3 Joint Force. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Well, you can have my copy. I've read all the articles when he wrote them.
Okay. Next up is Becky Blevins.
Nancy, I was gonna speak on 18. Do you want me to wait till then?
If you want to. Yeah, you wanna wait? Okay. Jerry Behringer?
Jerry Ferringer, 361 Cherry Hills Road. I am here tonight. I haven't been here in a while, but I'm going to talk about public service. And I think some of you understand the meaning of that term. Some of you don't. I'm going to be brief. I pour out my blood, sweat, and tears for this village, even though I've lived here a short time. I am quite often very disappointed and embarrassed at the actions of Councilmember Youngster and his complete and utter lack of professionalism and respect to members of this community, members of this council, members of this administration. And I've lived here a year. I've heard 3 reports of officials using racial slurs. This is not acceptable. This is 2026. This is not acceptable. This kind of behavior is unacceptable. Picking at a council member you dislike is unacceptable. You, sir, do not deserve that seat. You should step down. And if you don't, I challenge all of you to remove him. He is an embarrassment to this entire county.
Thank you.
Okay, that is all we had on the public comments.
Here,
Gonna
before we
move-
get started, can I make a motion to amend the agenda
Yes.
to include the discussion on the zoning,
Under business items,
under the business items? If you add that to F, that would be fine.
we have, would you mind if we moved it up before like as E, before the presentation?
That would,
That'd be
that'd be
okay.
fine.
I have a motion by Dustin,
Second.
second by Patricia. Do we need a roll call or all in favor? Roll
Yeah.
call be good?
Do it, guys.
Let's do a roll call. Okay. Dustin,
Yes.
Courtney,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
Patricia,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Eric. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so we moved that up earlier.
Okay, first up, we have Jim Albright.
that they're doing. My name is Jim Albright. I live at 50 Front Street. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I've lived in this town for 81 years. I've done a lot in this town as far as patriotic type things. I am a Vietnam veteran. I earned the Purple Heart, earned it, whatever you want to say. The wounds I received in Vietnam in 1966. I've done a lot with the Ohio Flags of Honor. I've done a lot with the 1137th Aviation Regiment, Blackhawks. A lot of people were involved with that. I was inducted into the Ohio Veterans Hall of Fame in 2014. So I'm here to speak, first of all, about the Flags of Freedom display that we are doing this weekend. This weekend is going to be a full weekend with the market going on, the Flags of Freedom going on. We've got our car show. I'm involved in everything except Nancy's, and if I had time, I'd be there helping her. But the Ohio Flags of Freedom, I've passed out flyers. Is a 304 flag display of Ohio servicemen that have been killed in Iraq and Afghanistan, and now with the Epic Fury in Iran. The 304 flag display will be at 40 Front Street, which is a property I own, down at the bottom of Front Street, at the corner of Congress, and goes up over the hill there. It'll take quite a bit of time to put the flags up. I've got most of the dots in the yard already. I've been working on it the last couple of days. The flags will be in Commercial Point at about 12 o'clock on Thursday, and we are planning on putting the flags up at 6 o'clock Thursday evening. So if anybody's got a hammer and available for help, we appreciate it very much. If we've got enough help, we can do all this. I've done more than this. We have done 400 flags like this down in the center of town, and it can be done in a couple, 3 hours if we got enough help. On Sunday afternoon, of course, our car show is going to be going on Saturday. I'll be running around on all that all day. And then Sunday at 2 o'clock, we're having a closing ceremony with the, I got some patriotic singers like Divided, which are PJ Rings' sisters. I've got the AmVets 2256 from Circleville that will do the shot volley and the bagpiper, or the bugler, I'm sorry. And then we've got a bagpiper that will do Amazing Grace and fade out through the crowd. As I stated, I'm a veteran. I've earned my time. I love this. The only thing, when I was asked to get this started, I thought the village or the council, or we were going to do more for the 250th anniversary. And that all kind of fell through, I guess, but I'd already made connections to get this done, and I wasn't going to back out of it. Even though I've got that car show going on, I just asked for some help. And I'm asking for some major, major help right now. And I talked to Nancy about this, and I understand to close the street, it's got to be done so long in advance. I'm asking council if there's a possibility that we can close Front Street from Brown to Congress Street for 2 hours to have this solemn ceremony that's basically a funeral for these 304 soldiers. I've been over there the last 2 days of marking the lines for the flags. Motorcycles go flying down through there full blast. They're playing their radios full blast. This is a solemn event. I don't want this to be right in the middle of this ceremony and some guy goes down through there being a smartass, excuse me, on his motorcycle, revving it loud and running his radio to where you can hear it clear over into Asheville. So I'm asking if the council could possibly let us close those streets, or that one street, for 2 hours. Is all we would need to shut that down. Other than that, I got the car show coming up. It's pretty well established. We've had this going on for quite a while. So I think we're okay with that. But here again, we're going to be shutting down the streets. We've already got that all approved way in advance. And if I'd known we were going to do this in advance, we'd had that done. One other thing, I'm nice about that, but I'm not going to be not so nice. And it's nothing not being nice is I've lived in this town for 81 years. My grandfather was a blacksmith in this town back in the 1800s. I've never left this town except 2 years when I was in Vietnam. And I'm involved in a lot of things, I've been around, but I don't get involved in council or politics or anything. But I hate to see this community fighting and bickering that's going on, just like this lady that she came up with her problem, and on and on and on with the data centers, with K-Nova and all that. I hate to see all this fighting. I traveled all over most of Ohio for about 25 years selling Mack trucks. And I used to go into all these little towns and we get to talking, where are you from? Well, I'm from Commercial Point. And most of you wouldn't know, some of you might. They used to say, oh, that's the home of Jerry Razor. And Jerry Razor used to have, he was a weatherman on Channel 4 and he had dance party. They say, oh, it's the home of Jerry Razor. And that's where the go-kart races are. They would remember those two things. You go somewhere now and mention Commercial Point, and they said, that's where the North's going against the South, or the East going to fight against the West. They're going to shoot each other. They're going on and on. It hurts me. It hurts me. If you've lived in this town as long as I have, it hurts me to see this. And I know business is business, but that's all I got to say about it. I mean, I just hate to see us for this small town. And I've always been proud of this town, and I'll always be proud of this town. And I'll never leave it. Like I said, I don't have many more years at 81 years old.
Jim,
Thank you.
One question. What's the date and the times that you're looking for this particular closure?
I'm sorry, yes. The ceremony is at 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. And if we would close it, we wouldn't have to close it any earlier than like 1:30 to maybe 3:30. Is all it would be. The short ceremony, we're not doing other than, we may read the names of all the soldiers. That'd be the longest part. Everything else will go boom, 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 and be done. And it'll all be done. So, and I appreciate any help. Anybody can come and pound a hammer. We appreciate it.
Jim,
Yes,
Tricia has.
I have a question.
sorry.
Is Thursday evening the only time you're doing the flags?
I hope to have it all done.
Okay.
And it'll be up Thursday night through Sunday at 2. It'll be under lights. Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night.
But the help he's looking for.
And you're gonna be
Yeah.
you're gonna be taking them down as well. So you're gonna
Taking
need
them
help.
down,
You're gonna need
taking them
help with
down as
that.
soon as the ceremony's over Sunday afternoon. If anybody wants to come down and help tear down,
If I'm not
That'll
able
go
to help you
pretty-
put them up, I'll help you take them down.
I appreciate that very much. Like I said, it shouldn't be very long, and if we don't get it all done Thursday night, really the flags are already, I mean, the program is from Friday, so we may end up out there with 2 or 3 people on Friday morning trying to finish it up. But,
I'm not very strong, but I'll come
what-
out with a
Yeah.
hammer.
What time on Thursday did you
Thursday
say?
night at 6 o'clock is the plan.
Okay,
I'll be out there earlier if somebody wants to come
I-
earlier, so,
I'm gonna reach out to the football team.
oh, okay, they'd be
Yeah.
good, okay.
The,
Yeah, because
the
they've
varsity
always helped,
team. I
they
have.
always helped us at the go-kart.
They're driving
They would-
stakes in the ground is what they're doing.
Yeah, well, they helped with the men's club
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah,
I mean,
so
I can't promise
They used to
anything,
help
but
us with go-kart
I'm
racing.
gonna
They did a good
put-
job.
I'm gonna put a message into the like parent app that goes to everyone and just say you're doing this, and I'm gonna send the flyer and ask for help and see. I know they have practice, so
Yeah, I understand that.
maybe some of them can
Afterwards.
come though. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna try. I'll do that, and if I can, I'll send my husband
The
and I
fellow in
can.
charge of flags was telling me today that he had 30 people at the last one and they had them up in 45 minutes.
Oh,
It can
okay.
be done. I've never done that.
One more second. Can we just motion for this?
The police chief can close the road anytime he wants. All he has to do is order it closed.
The chief has said he only wants to close it due to an emergency. He wants council to make those decisions. And I think we discussed that, right, Bill?
I think we ought to make an exception in this case.
I mean, you could make
Well, yeah.
a
That's what I'm saying,
motion
make a
to,
motion.
Make an exception.
yeah.
Make a motion.
Make a motion to amend
amend
the agenda to add street closure for 2 hours for this, and then,
Mr. Fox, you have a
Oh,
Yeah,
question?
what he said.
And we,
I just want to make sure the intersection that you were actually requesting, so we get the motion correct.
I originally was going to ask from North Street to Congress, but they'll come down, I know what they'll do, they'll come down North Street and cut on down through there anyway. So I'd rather do it at Brown Street, and they come around the little block is all it is.
The Brown and Congress.
Well, it'd be. they
Just
would-
south of Brown, right? So they could still cut Brown.
They go down Brown to 762
Yeah.
and then down to Congress Street and back down through town if that's what they want to do.
So you want front from Brown to Congress. Is that
That's correct. That's correct.
August 9th.
August the 9th.
And you said 1:30 to 3:30?
1:30 to 3:30
Do you need an extra like a 15-minute buffer just in case, or no 1:30 to 3:30?
If you want to give me a
I
little bit
think,
of time.
What
Yeah,
time
we
do
put a
people gonna start
buffer,
showing
yeah.
up?
15 minutes.
we put like, we
What
put
time do you
4.
think
Yeah.
people will start
So
showing
Yeah.
like
up?
1:15 to 4.
Yeah.
No, I have no idea. I'm going to have 50 chairs out there. I don't know.
Well, I think when we did the flags of honor,
We used to have a big crowd.
I mean, there was 400 or 500.
Yes, yes, I agree.
So
So-
can we close that from noon? So if people want to come and spend time, I mean, we're not stopping anybody from getting anywhere other than those 4 houses. Because there's a way to go Brown out, there's a way to go Congress
Well,
out.
Yeah.
If we could just close that whole
3 of those
section.
are mine. So.
Right, yeah. And 2 on the other side
Yeah,
are the
well-
church and empty, so.
Well, Lee Sally, he'll be out there helping.
Yeah.
He's the only other
So
one.
1 to 4 would work.
Yeah, oh yeah, I think.
Your concern is during the ceremony and just prior to and then right after.
That's correct, that's correct. Yeah, no other, because any other time it's gonna be open to the public. And when we've had these in the past, you won't believe, it'll be under big spotlights. And you won't believe how many people are out there in the middle of the night walking through those flags crying. I mean, it's sad. It's a very solemn ceremony. Very
Dustin,
solemn.
you wanna-
I'm gonna make a motion to amend the agenda to add the road closure to item after the zoning administration discussion. However, that's renumbered.
have a motion, I have a second.
Second.
Courtney. I have roll call, please. Patricia?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Eric?
Yeah.
Dustin?
Yes.
Courtney?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Move on. The next item I have is Rolling Dutchman.
Hold on,
What?
point of order. Was that a motion to amend the agenda?
Yes.
Yeah.
Motion to amend the agenda.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct, to
I
add
need a
the item.
motion to close the street, for council to approve the closing of
We
the
were,
street.
we were gonna add that under business items.
Yeah, we're gonna add it.
If you wanna do it now, we
Should we
can.
do
Yeah, I would just do it
Okay.
right
Okay,
now.
all right.
Then I'll make a motion to close Front Street between Brown and Congress on August 9th from 1 PM to 4 PM.
A second.
By Jay.
Discussion. We also need to add those side streets, because if they turn down the road that cuts through the church area, if that's not closed, that gives them access to the closed road. I can't, is that North Alley?
That's
I
north.
think you're right.
North
North
Alley?
Yeah.
Because-
Is that north?
Yeah, we have a problem when we have like the Christmas parade and stuff. We didn't have people at all the intersections. Remember, we had cars coming in every daggone direction.
Yeah.
So
true.
I think we need to be specific and close
Access to Front Street.
correct from
Access.
all directions during that time.
From Brown to Congress.
Yeah, that way there's nobody gonna get hit while they're walking to or from.
Yes.
Need to amend
Okay.
it.
Well, we gotta vote on that one first, don't we? Because motion and
Well, there
second
was a
discussion.
second.
You can withdraw.
Make sure we do it
Got all
appropriate.
that?
I'll withdraw the motion.
A second.
You can do any secondary streets that would
Right,
spill
okay.
onto these.
And I will
Anything the chief can.
resubmit a motion to close Front Street between Brown and Congress and any side street access on August 9th between 1 PM and 4 PM.
A second motion.
By Jay. Roll call. Jay.
Yes.
Courtney.
Yes.
Dustin.
Yes.
Patricia.
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Eric.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up is a Rolling Dutchman. I don't know if many of you know, this is like the rolling donut truck. They're Dutchmen. They've been going all over Central Ohio, just setting up in a 2-hour span just to get out. They would like to set up here in the village office on August 24th from 8 to 10 a.m. I just wanted to bring it to council, make sure, you know, that's okay. I think it'd be a nice thing for the community.
Yeah.
Day on that. What day
August
was it?
24th, that's on a Monday,
What were the times going to be again?
8 to 10.
Trying to figure out if you can get there.
Yeah. Oh, I could get there.
Well, no, I know,
I
me
could get
too. That's why I
there.
was like, ooh.
I'm just like, I'm like a lot of people leave for work earlier. I don't know.
I just wanted to bring that. It sounds like you guys are okay with that. So, all right, thank you. Next up is update administrative guidelines. You guys should already have those administrative guidelines at the beginning of the year. We just added the part-time administrative assistant and the wages, everything that I gave you at the last meeting. So I just need a motion to approve to add that to our administrative guidelines.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Zeke. A second?
Discussion.
Yes.
I don't know why we're going through this. We have a part-time administrative assistant in the code. Those things are already in the code. So why are we going through creating a position that is either going to be supported by the same statute as the one that's already there? Or are we creating something different that has to have, because we have to have an ordinance to create a position. If we don't have an ordinance, there's no controlling document. A resolution, anything, doesn't hold. That is a procedure or a policy internal. If this is creating a new position, we must have an ordinance very specific to create it, and then we can do the guidelines. We have a part-time administrative assistant in our law already. Are we adding to it, adding another person under that title, or are we creating a new position? How we do it matters. It's been broken since 2014, and now's our chance to fix it.
If it already exists, then what's the harm in doing this? Like I guess I'm not understanding
Because
the issue.
the exact things that they do, the exact hierarchy is all in the code.
Okay.
So if we change anything, then we have to amend the controlling code. So this person, by code, will be a part-time employee in the office of the mayor. So this person will report to the mayor, just like the part-time clerk we have now. There is no full-time administrative assistant in any codified ordinance.
That's for another.
No,
discussion.
ma'am.
We are discussing the part-time position.
Point of order.
Added to administrative assistant.
Point of
If
order.
you don't want to do that and you want to table it to the next meeting, that's fine.
No,
But we're not
Bill,
gonna go back and talk about another position that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about right now.
it does. You're
This
doing
is
a
a
position that doesn't have an
part-time position.
ordinance.
Part-time position.
We already have it.
It's not in our.
I make a motion to
administrative guidelines.
adjourn. Bill, if you're not gonna be the parliamentarian, why are you here?
What do you want, Eric?
I just put out that we have this position by ordinance. It's the only administrative assistant we have. Are we adding another one of those, or are we creating a new one? I requested these records months ago, and I've gotten everything but these. And now we're either creating a new position with no controlling ordinance, like the full-time position, or what are we doing here? Is this ceremonial?
We can update the ordinances if that's what you're requesting.
That's what I ask. If we're doing a new position, we have to have an ordinance, and I got told I'm not allowed to talk about that because that's not what we're talking about, when it's exactly what we're talking about, because we already have this position
Okay,
in
we'll go
ordinance.
ahead and
So-
we'll update ordinance, we'll move on.
I just don't even see what the issue is. Like if
We'll
if it
think-
already exists, then what are we talking
I
about,
think
Eric?
that's what he's saying though. That's what he's asking. He's saying, is this a new position or is it a second position for what we already have? Because my understanding is that this position would report to Wendy. Am I under the wrong understanding of that? Right. And what he's saying is the current position we have reports to the mayor. So what he's saying is we don't have a position right now in our ordinances that reports to Wendy. So he's saying we need to make one first. Is that, I'm
Thank you.
pretty sure.
Yes, that was exactly.
All right, so we'll have an
it
update.
done, let's move on.
We'll have an update at the cow for what the code says and what the new
Okay.
position is and a new ordinance as
The
needed.
September council meeting, we all missed that, we had it for the wrong date. in the, when we voted then at the beginning of the year, we had it for on Labor Day. So I just need a motion to move our September council meeting to September 14th.
Motion.
Second.
Did we check and make sure that doesn't interrupt any timelines or anything that we're on? Before we make that, I don't know what processes we're still processing or not.
Going on.
On my calendar personally, I thought we had already had that moved
I was
because
gonna
of
say, I had it on the
I-
fourth.
I
In the
don't know if it-
guidelines in the actual.
in the guidelines, it was not, okay. I know during discussion it was, we
Yeah.
needed to have that, but it might not have been officially done for that, so we're now officially moving that, cause,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So this actually just makes that the official change, okay.
So I had a motion by Courtney, a second by Zeke. I'm gonna ask for a roll call for this. Tricia?
Yes.
Zeke?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Courtney?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Dustin?
Yes.
Next up is the, village administrator job. Chase is here.
Village zoning
Oh,
officer.
village zoning, I'm sorry. Sorry, Dave.
Second.
Chase is here, you know, we met with him again today with Mike. Mike showed him, you know, a couple of things that, you know, with the apps and stuff, and, you know, we have Dave and we have Mike that can help along the way. You know, he's eager, it works with his schedule. He has great communication, being the job that he does, he has to. So I felt that he was best fit. Like I said, I don't have to get council approval for it, but I wanted to recommend there.
Is this a part-time position?
Yes. We are planning, which I did speak with Chase about this in the interview. We are planning on in the future. We've been discussing, Dave and I, and about creating our own building department within a year. That takes time to be put together. We want to not rush. We want to take our time, make sure it's done correctly. Chase was told that, you know, and if that he's interested, you know, at that time, and he feels that that's something he wants to do. If not, he knows that that's where we're going.
How many hours a week?
It just depends. I mean, if you don't have any zoning apps, you don't come in here and work. So I
get that.
can't, you know, I can't really give. I know Mike had 14 apps, but that was over like a 2-week span.
I guess my number one question would be qualifications. For
What?
the qualifications, I'm not trying to be ever, but
You don't
this
say.
is someone that we expect to uphold our zoning codes and enforce them. And if you have no experience even reading code, or do you have experience reading building codes?
Building codes, no.
This isn't building codes.
Or, I mean, just our
Zoning
order, our
codes.
zone, well, our zoning codes.
I have experience with interpreting policies and procedures, but not necessarily in any zoning direct experience.
And none of them had any zoning experience.
None of the three
None of
applicants.
the 3 applicants.
Give an hourly rate.
So I guess my question to
It's
you,
whatever it is now. It's not gonna
Nancy,
change. I'm
w-
sorry, yes.
what led you to believe that Chase was the most qualified person of the 3 applicants?
I felt that he presented himself professionally.
Okay.
Being with his job that he has, I know he has good communication skills. Sometimes we approach people that have zoning issues that sometimes can be a little irate. I think that his experience in that would be good. He's also, right now we have our police department issuing the citations. He has a class that he has taken, spoke with the chief, he's qualified to give those citations, so that will take one thing off of the current police officers. He catches on very easily, as he told me, you know, he's eager to learn, and I can tell you, not any of our zoning inspectors have had any degrees of any kind along the way.
Most of the zoning issues that come up for enforcement will come through Dave and or myself. So anytime there's a question of interpretation, Jim always came back to me, and the classic cases that everybody knows about that we had, where there's 4 or 5 different statutes that he's got to cite someone, all came back through me or through Chief or through John Gross and then Dave. So
I guess if I may, my thought process here is like, I think, we've seen pretty recently how this position can be pretty impactful in our process, and just given, and I don't mean this in any kind of disrespect, given the lack of any kind of direct construction experience, as the person that's making the hiring recommendation, I guess I would just ask, do you have any intention to put him through any sort of training or anything?
We're not just gonna throw him in there and say, hey, good luck.
Well, I will say, I think where Zeke's coming from, and I mean, I'll just say from speaking to people in the community, even recently, how can we guarantee that our codes are going to be upheld? There have been many instances where they're not, or what happened with Walker Point previously with the slab homes. I think that we're all a little concerned that if we're moving in a whole direction of what's going to be best for the village, this is no offense to you at all, that I mean, I think this, I will just say, I think this should have been a conversation we had before we had this gentleman in front of us.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna say, how I feel about it.
Well, he had asked if he wanted to
Well, I
comment on
understand.
that,
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying anything with that. I'm saying we never even discussed this, and I understand
But
you
I
don't
don't
need
need-
us. I understand that, but we're up here for a reason, and I understand that. But I think that we haven't talked about this at all. It was just I'm posting the position. Some of us have spoken to individually. We've kind of gotten shrugged off, or just. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't feel like my thoughts about where I saw this position going, or where I thought it possibly should go for the future of the village. I don't really feel like it was like addressed.
We are we're looking into a building department. I don't know where
So
else he
you're
wants us to go.
so you're saying he's just here until then?
Possibly, and he knows that.
Why do you want to take this job, Chase? It's $6,000 a year. I mean, obviously, you're putting yourself out there in the public light. Like, I guess I've kind of highlighted how I think that, you would play a very important role in the development of the community. So I guess I would just open it up to you to tell me. I'm sure we'll have other questions, but
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't have zoning experience. I've already started just because I'm kind of curious about how the zoning works in Commercial Point. I've already started trying to interpret some of those policies and whatnot in your guys' ordinances for the zoning code. Obviously, I'm not going to be a professional right now. I haven't even started, so I don't really know much about it. I'm a fast learner. I'm ready to at least give it a shot and see how it goes. I don't have that experience, but the flexibility of the job, I've got a full-time job, obviously, where that job is also extremely important, where this job will be extremely important as well. So it's not really changing anything in that aspect, but it could be a really good opportunity for me to try and expand my horizon a little bit.
sure. Something you're interested in is building codes and okay. Zoning codes.
My concern is we're getting the right zoning codes, because I've had people come to my house and zone my house and disallowed it. And they actually literally had the wrong code in their hands.
That's just
county
that-
officials?
No, that's just that person's issue with having the right code. I
Well,
mean,
I
they're doing
agree.
their own research.
But he was an experienced person with the village for a number of years. My concern is if somebody walks out that has no experience whatsoever at all, are we gonna get the right codes? Are we gonna have problems? We're gonna have him coming up with the wrong information that's gonna create more problems?
He's not going to be alone in this. I want that to be very clear. Dave has offered, like he did with Jem, to sit down and go through things, you know, when we get major site plans. We haven't had any of those for quite some time. You know, Mike didn't know anything about zoning, and it took him a couple weeks, and he's got it. It's, you know, if there are complaints on, you know, tall grass, junkyards, whatever, those are things that need to be emailed in. You know, I'm just trying to do the best that I can do, because I know a lot of you don't like that Mike is doing the zoning stuff. And I was trying to find someone that I thought was okay with that. This just may be a temporary position and is eager to learn. And we have people that want to help them learn. But
Can I ask you to commit to, like, right here and now, if we were to approve Chase?
First of all, he's already appointed.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't approve
I
it.
mean,
This
we
is
don't-
symbolic.
Yeah, she already appointed him.
Can I
This is basically just-
ask you that you would put him through some sort of formalized training? So, I mean, for his own development and career development, if that's something. Okay.
Yeah.
But I asked her that earlier, and I didn't get anything from her. So.
well, I said they've had training with Dave, or they've had training.
But
with
that's
Mike.
on the job training. That's, I mean.
Yeah.
What time do you work your other job?
I work second shift on my other job, so it's 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. So most of the business hours would be open.
And you're okay with you don't think it's gonna be an issue, like you're working 3 to 11 and then you need to get up and be here at 8 a.m. for something?
That's nothing unusual for me.
Okay.
He's off on Mondays and Tuesdays, and this isn't like an 8 to 5 kind of job. If he wants to come in at 10 o'clock and he has 5 apps to do, and he's done in 3 hours, he can go.
Well, yeah, no, that's
So,
fine.
I mean, there's no set hours on this job. I think, and you know, there will be a point that, you know, maybe we look at it in 90 days, see how it's working out. Get with Chase, see how he feels, see how we feel, and you know, I'm committed to doing that.
I
You know,
don't
let's give
think
it
our
90
I
days.
don't think our codes and policies allow for that.
Can
So
I
if he would
ask-
sue us if we fired him, it would be wrongful. Because that process of looking at it at this point and this point is not supported by our documents. So we can't just do that on the fly without increasing possible legal risk.
Dave, can I ask you a question? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, Dave, maybe can you speak about, you know, like you being his liaison or mentee or trainer, you know, the things that you'll be spending time with?
Yeah,
Maybe to put everyone's,
so
you know,
we
mind
are-
at
we
ease,
are
because
going
I will just say this, I understand, I respect everyone's concern, but I will tell you, when someone has a job, sometimes they need that on-the-job experience, and I can tell you, I know someone that's a 911 operator, and I tell you, the critical thinking skills that someone has to answer that phone, they have to have a mindset of thinking outside of the box. So for me to believe that he can read a document and get it right and get that zone, I personally think he can do, just because you do this job and you've been a 911 operator for a while. I commend you for that. So maybe if you could speak to, maybe it'll make everyone feel a little bit
Yeah,
better.
we have already discussed about a transition period along with myself and Mike and even John, our water superintendent, because everybody down at our water system and street system is well versed in reading blueprints and deciphering what information is on. So that's going to be part of that learning curve, as you would like to call it, is to make sure that he has a good handle on how we look at things, and also get accustomed to the village layout, the streets, where things are, that type of thing. And then certainly there are external training opportunities as his schedule would allow, you know, even if they're online.
And And then, I'm sorry, I had meta glasses. They're talking to me. I'm sorry. And then would there be a period like, you know, before he does something on his own that you guys would sit down and talk, or I don't know, maybe like a coaching session that you would meet with him to say, hey, maybe it's even a mock plan that you give him and say, hey, I'm going to give you this. I need for you to get back with me and tell me what you see to ensure that he can do that.
We do that now, even with Mike. Mike stopped in today to
Oh, awesome.
talk with
Okay.
me
Yeah.
about, that happens on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I have like a rotating door.
Yeah. And I am sure that, I mean, with any, I mean, I don't know you, sir, but I'm sure with any job, you know, you have to perform. If you don't perform, I'm sure there's PIPs or some type of corrective action plans. If someone can't do their job, and they don't have their job anymore. Just because someone loses a job because they can't perform doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to sue.
Do you
I was
live?
an employee at Will State, so I'm sorry.
How long are we paying the other person for the
As
zoning
soon as
codes?
this is approved, that
That
payment will
goes
go
away.
away,
Okay.
yes.
And then it's a part-time position, so he's only going to be paid if he's here. If there's no apps, he
No,
doesn't
there is
get
a
paid.
salary, it's
There-
like 6,000.
Oh,
a year,
okay.
so I mean,
Okay,
there
I'm
is a
sorry.
salary,
Okay,
but yeah,
sorry
the
about
fees
that.
and stuff are extra. But yeah, I mean,
Gotcha.
there's
Okay.
mileage. So yeah, I just want to say, you know, I worked for a law firm for 14 years, and when they accepted me, I had 0 experience, and I had on the job training, and I learned a lot. So
We're not gonna let him sing.
right, we have a fantastic team of people that are always, I mean, like Dave said, it's every day, you know, or almost every day, if someone has a question. So,
Well, I commend you for putting yourself out there for something like this. And do you live in the community?
I live in Circleville. I used to live in Asheville, just moved to Circleville recently.
Okay.
So
Yeah. No, I mean, I appreciate you trying to be involved in our community and yeah. Thank you.
And I would ask, I'm sorry, one last thing. Is he able to come to our meetings to be on the agenda and he can report to us? And then
Yes.
we can see, you know what I'm saying?
he has Mondays off. So
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. Love to see, you know, your progress.
Yeah, his slot will be here.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I'm
See you. See you.
Thanks, Jason.
So do I need to do a motion
Got
about
Mike's back.
to end that? Because I'm probably gonna have him start in 2 weeks when the next pay period starts.
Is Mike going to be involved in training him?
Well, let's deal with Mike now, and we can put the legislation on for stop and start pay dates.
All right, that'll
That's,
work. That'll
you're
work.
just talking administration,
Yes.
on and off payroll, that's something that you would normally do.
Okay, I just wanna make sure.
Yeah.
I'm doing it right. Okay, next up is, Sarah Horton. How's it out of you, are they here?
He's from MI Homes.
Oh, I knew it was from one of the places.
Okay. They're not here. So we will move on to legislation. Up for first reading, resolution 42-2026, a resolution to transfer monies within the general fund from the transfers out account 1,910,910 and transfer said monies to the machinery, equipment, and furniture account 1,710,540. This is for the computers.
Motion to
Can
waive
I-
reading.
Yeah, motion, second.
Justin,
Beat me to it.
second by Jay. Roll call?
Jay,
Yes.
Patricia,
Yes.
Dustin,
Yes.
Zeke,
Yes.
Courtney. Yes. Eric.
Yes.
Motion to approve.
We're just moving money, so we
Oh,
don't
yeah,
have to do
thank you.
that.
Okay.
That has passed. Okay, next up is ordinance number 2026-20, an ordinance repealing and replacing chapter 444 of the codified ordinances, enacting comprehensive definitions and operating rules for bicycles, electronic bicycles, low-speed micro-mobility devices, scooters, skateboards, motorized personnel certificate, and identification decal program, providing education first enforcement, parental responsibility based on knowing conduct, due process, protections, penalties, severability, and an effective date. Nope, we did first reading only. Ordinance number 2026-21, an ordinance amending section 678.12 of the codified ordinances of the Village of Commercial Point to establish local aerial fireworks discharge suitability standards based upon zoning district, parcel capacity, fire safety, and safety separation requirements. Title only. Ordinance number 2026-22, an ordinance repealing and replacing existing noise regulations in chapter 648 of the codified ordinances of the Village of Commercial Point, Ohio, including section 648.10 and section 648.11, to the extent inconsistent herewith, and adopting comprehensive outdoor sound, outdoor music, and nuisance sounds regulation.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yes.
This is Eric's ordinance,
Yes.
right? So there's another one
Yes.
that we've been moving through.
2026-18.
I guess, can you speak to how you think that maybe those things work well together, or so?
They can't work well together. They're actually the opposite.
So yeah,
Because this is for noise for everything from here on.
Okay.
Set standards that we're already in the footprint for my data center stuff, the 50 dBs at the property line, the 60 dBs, all of that's included. My fear is if we do the 90 dB, we're going to have, 100 or 75 dB C at a property line, and that's what rattles people's plates off the ground. But we're going to say a data center has to be 50 dBs at the property line. So I took all that together, and I do allow a little bit more depending on distance from a property line for any business, for how loud their sound can be and what times. And it just puts everything together, because if we do something and then say we have to have another one, and we don't know where this the litigation is going, then we're putting in a sound ordinance to deal with one particular establishment. But then we're going to say another for-profit business has to have yet another one. So this just does it all. It addresses everybody. It's basically, unless they are wanting to have a music performance with dedicated subwoofers and dedicated stage monitors that face towards the house, they can do that. But it's the live bands. Those are the ones that have no business in a residential area. If you just have one person or two people and you don't have dedicated low noises, the low noises are what penetrates a house. So that if we can eliminate the low noises, then we'll have a lot less issues for any establishment.
Okay. I guess what I'm trying to get to here is understanding, because when I read the ordinances, it seemed like they were pretty different. And I guess I was wondering if you could summarize, and maybe you can't do it here, maybe it's something you have to send out to us, what you think that passing this ordinance immediately after Dustin's ordinance, what this would add on top of that, or do you think it would tear it down? Do you think there's something that would? No,
Okay,
but it's a reading ahead of yours.
I get that. So here's the problem. Okay, I gave mine. I spoke with the solicitor. He told me to submit it to be on a couple meetings ago, and because it wasn't within 12 days, it didn't get put on. However, the metadata from the one that you are reading through was actually sent after mine, but it was put on the agenda. And I have all this that I can show you.
I understand. I don't feel like we need to get into the administrative piece of that. I think could you answer the question I was asking?
Yeah, that's why they should have been together so we could decide which direction
to go in.
And that's what Bill had said. He said, get that submitted so you can, the council
you can always
can
look
decide.
at both of them. I think you're going to ultimately have to choose one of them. But I'd ask council to read both of them. We can discuss it at the COW way before there's a third reading on
Either one.
Well,
okay.
Chairman Fox's or on Go ahead.
The chief isn't here, but I also think that the chief needs to read these because the chief just sat up here last meeting and said they're not enforcing some long, huge laws that are huge, and he said he's not doing
So we
that.
have addressed
So,
page 35. Page 35 is all they need.
35?
That's all they
35
need.
page ordinance, Eric?
Yeah, this is a whole chapter. This is not just a note. This is rewriting.
So you
everything.
want us right now we're paying someone to do research for us for data centers. We're paying for that right now. But you want us to pass your code for data centers.
No,
For
it's-
noise. You just said it covers everything.
Okay.
You said it covers everything. It's a
It
blanket
does.
approach. Then why would we be paying someone to do research for us?
I would love to know that answer because all the research is done. All they need to do is look at all the things that I had in the.
Yeah, they're
original
gonna give us a
legislation.
they're gonna give us an unbiased opinion
Okay.
with all of the facts. So without us having that, we are paying somebody to do that, but you're saying you want something that all encompasses everything at once. A 35-page law, whether he needs 1 page or not, he said they're not doing that. So this is again part of us working together. Again, instead of just a fight of yours is wrong, I'm gonna bash you all
Point
over
of order.
Facebook.
Is she going to be allowed to continue?
Right now, she just started saying something before. She
All
was
right,
just
we are reading title only. Hold on, we finish. We're reading title only.
Well, then how do we, I want to say this, so Zeke started asking questions. If we're reading title only, then Zeke should have never been allowed to even start asking questions.
And I'm not gonna stop a healthy discussion when everyone's being respectful. If we want to totally outlaw discussion, we can do that. All I'm saying is, this is a first title, reading only. Look at the 2 statutes. I'm sure that Mr. Fox and Mr. Nungaster can get together. I have a meeting set with Chief to review both noise ordinances when he gets back from vacation, to go through what is going to be easiest for him to apply in the field. And as the legislation works its way through, I'm sure we will have questions on all of it, both Dustin's and Eric's.
I emailed you, Eric, last week, because you had this as read only, and I could not attach the number to it. Can you take that off? Also, you have Dustin as a signature of legislation, and he doesn't.
Bill
sign
has it.
legislation.
That's normally how I do it. Bill gets done with it and he'll give it to you. So he's the last one to transmit it because
Yeah,
he's
it's
the
just,
one
there's
to
a problem with, we'll get to it.
Okay, 'cause I couldn't.
Yeah,
do
I don't want to submit it to you because he says it's good to form. And if anything changes in the submission, I want it to be on Den's
Well, I
one,
didn't
not
hear a
me.
response from you, so I was just wanting to ask it. Okay.
If I may, I think what Courtney, and I don't want to speak for you, but I think what Courtney was trying to say is that working together as a team, if someone is working on legislation, why would someone else work on that same legislation? Dustin and I have worked on this sound ordinance. We've met with community members, residents, business owners. We've worked so hard on this for hours. And then someone else is going to do it. So I just think us as a team, if someone's going to work on something, please let me know, because I can spend my time working on something else for the community if someone else wants to do it. But Dustin and I spent so much time on this. It's doing double work, and that's not beneficial
agree.
to anyone if we're doing double and triple work.
That's
There's something else in this community that needs to be done.
That's 1,000% my
That's,
point.
thank you.
Can I just add that Council President Fox has known that I've had this written for 2 years. I discussed the noise ordinance with him when we went through it before, when he was a public person. So he knows that I've been working on this. So I apologize that he wasted your time, but he knew before he was elected that this was something I did, and he's known all the time.
I didn't say it was wasting
Okay,
my time.
we're gonna move
Alright, let's
forward.
move on.
We're
This
gonna
is
move
so
on.
wild.
Move on. Up for second reading, ordinance number 2026-17. An ordinance authorizing the utility billing department to accept new utility customers for water and sewer services solely with property owners, and to convert all existing tenant contracts into the property owner's names within a period of 12 months. Is there any questions from the public regarding that? Ordinance number 2026-18, an ordinance amending the zoning code of the Village of Commercial Point, Ohio to repeal or replace section 64811 of the zoning code as to noise. Becky, you said you wanted to speak on this. We're gonna give people the 5 minutes here if they have a question about the noise ordinance.
I almost afraid to say something after that last argument, but okay. Okay, I just want to say, first of all, I am not against any individual or any business within Commercial Point. My goal is not to cause any harm to any individual or any business, okay? That being said, I am for the tax-paying resident of Commercial Point and their right to enjoy their real property 24/7, 365 without uninvited loud noise. Each of you here, as well as those watching on streaming, must listen. Consider what I'm going to say. It is your future, your town, your children. It could be your neighborhood. Maybe not today, but in the future. This isn't about the occasional backyard party or special events that are addressed within the ordinance. This is a noise detrimental to the health, life, and welfare of residents within their real property. No resident should have their sleep interrupted, have to sleep with earplugs, fear retaliation if they call in, or have their invited guests leave because entertainment was impossible due to uninvited loud noise. If you report an issue, do you, as council members, want to hear, well, I can't hear it from my house? That infers to me that it doesn't matter to you if you can't hear it not at your house. First, the ordinance should be written by a neutral side legal source who understands and writes ordinances. Do it once and do it right. Do we want to do it right the first time, or do we want to do it over? I believe this is about the 6th time the noise ordinance has been written for Commercial Point. Here are the issues with the proposed ordinance. Sections have been taken from the old ordinance, which was deemed too confusing for the police department to understand. How are they going to understand this one? Not once were those constituents affected most adversely brought in and talked to for conversation. But Commercial Point Police was brought in to interpret their existing ordinance. Persons not certified on sound specialists were consulted. Business owners were consulted. And even the Commercial Point administrative positions were asked, can you hear it at your house? Can you hear it at your house? Is that relevant if you can't hear it at your house? All of them were asked, but not once were the adversely affected invited to the table for conversation or input. That is wrong and does not constitute an unbiased, professionally written ordinance. When I had a question about 85 decibels and how far they would carry past the 75-foot line, I could not get a definitive answer, only that it was unknown. So how do we know how this is going to affect those beyond the 75-foot line that is in the ordinance?
Right about 10 dBs per
So
100
how
feet.
will Commercial Point officers determine a violation that two did not have a definitive answer? Nothing should be left to the personal discretion of an officer. They are there to enforce the law, not interpret it. I lost my pages now. Every business has a right to entertain their patrons legally, but not to intrude on the rights of the residents. All businesses bear the responsibility of being a good neighbor. In closing, if everyone was considerate and their actions were not negatively impacting the health and welfare and the happiness of others, there would be no need for a noise ordinance. There would be no need for the cops to be called, for citations to be written, for tax dollars to be wasted enforcing the ordinance. Wouldn't that be a wonderful world? I ask each of you, who are your constituents? Did you take an oath to serve
all of the citizens of CP or just your chosen ones?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Second reading on that. Resolution number 26-2026, a resolution authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a contract with the Pickaway County.
Wait, hold on,
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
You didn't, nobody has any discussion on that?
I didn't. We were.
Well, I mean,
I
it's
would
the
love
sec-
to talk
it's the
about
second
it.
reading,
Yeah.
So this is the time, I feel like it was just
Yeah.
kind of like she spoke and we said thank you and it was just it. I think we need to have discussion on this.
Yeah, and say discussion.
So that's what we're gonna talk about, the 22 and the 18.
Becky, I apologize. I thought we met with you and we spoke about the noise ordinance. We were back in there,
One
weren't we?
party
Yeah.
invited you to their home to listen and they said you did not come. And they said they invited you on 2 occasions.
I mean, I don't know if I can, but I have my text messages from her. She told me that it wasn't an issue and I didn't need to come to her house. I believe her first name was, I'm not gonna say her first name out here, but I will not. But I have messages from her and I can show you. When we leave here, I'll show you the messages. But I did reach
That's
out to
one
her.
person out of how many that are affected. I'm not.
That was the only one that you sent me to
I think
contact.
Now, we've
everybody's
already
at my
had-
house, but it's not a big deal for me. You know, I'm here to represent those around who have said something to me about why can't we do something?
Okay, we've had the 5 minutes. Now we're gonna have the discussion.
Well, she asked a question.
I did ask a
That's
question
fine.
because I thought I met with you.
That's fine.
Yeah, I would echo that though. I mean, I know that I've met with Becky and you know, I don't know, perhaps, you know, have you taken have you had the opportunity to read the proposed noise ordinances? Have you had an opportunity to read the proposed noise ordinances?
Yes,
You have?
yes, that's what my questions were on, the 85 decibels and so forth.
Okay. So I guess, you know, you said that you felt like we haven't given you or our constituents an opportunity to see this ordinance and the different proposed ordinances. So that I guess is where I was confused about.
I said we were not, those individuals were not included in on a conversation with the same people that the police department, the business establishments and all of that weren't included in on. And Nancy didn't want us to go on the conversation.
She's saying that we didn't meet with the other people that she's representing.
Most of them are anonymous.
I also did meet with Becky, so she knows kind of we had very good conversations, still have had ongoing conversations. I've also talked to some other patrons, and I won't say names either, patrons in that area, residents, not patrons, residents of that area. I think what she's saying is she feels like we didn't include them in the conversation. I will say I understand your feeling, but we also can't. I know of one person that I possibly could have reached out to, which sounds like it might be the same person you're referring to. We have to have people sometimes, Becky, come to us. If people don't come to us sometimes, it's hard for us to know what people are wanting. I understand people wanting discretion. I completely understand why.
But you guys reached out to the businesses? You reached out
Well,
to
because-
all of these other individuals?
Well,
All I'm asking is why weren't the people most adversely affected, why weren't they included?
did you want them to go to their houses and knock on their doors and ask? I'm just asking. I'm
If
not
they
being
wanted to.
facetious. I'm just curious how you would in the future like to see that gone about. So that way people are feeling included. But I'm just curious because if they don't come to us or email us or tell us there's a concern, then sometimes it's hard for us to know. Now we could go knock on each one of those people's doors.
Do you know why people don't come to you? For the very reason that I spoke up and got my burro stolen out of my front yard.
And I told you
They
I
don't-
understand
They're
that.
afraid of retaliation, that's why they don't come. Me, I don't care. My life, I'm 81 years old. If somebody wants to take my life, take it. I know where I'm going. I'm just trying to ask to be fair. Why do you have to have it so loud, and why can't the offenders, I'm not mentioning any, it could be somebody down the road, okay? I'm not mentioning names, I'm not pointing out any one individual, but it could be their responsibility to tone it down, but we're giving them permission to blare it at 85 decibels. And we don't know even how the police department's going to enforce it. We speculate, but we don't know how it's going to be enforced. So all I'm saying is we're drawing up a noise ordinance that is no better than the one we got right now. Because number one, it's not going to be enforced. Number two, could be interpreted wrong. Number three, who's going to be out there with a tape measure and say, okay, it's 75 feet. And that's supposed to be the responsibility of the police officer? He's there to enforce the law, not to determine where this exact line is and have somebody cross the line. That's not fair to our officers.
And currently, none of that is there. Currently,
Pardon?
right now, currently in the current legislation, the current ordinance, none of that is there. There's not the tools to give our officers the opportunity to enforce laws. That the only thing they can really do without any potential repercussion is to ask them to turn it down. The establishment could certainly say, we choose not to, and then that would be a legal issue. So what we're trying to do here is to try to find that middle ground so the officers do have an opportunity and utilize due process to make them accountable for louder noises.
But at what point does that officer go in there and say, okay, you need to turn it down because it's at this point? How does he know it's at this point?
Well,
They're gonna
they
put the
committed to
meter.
put decibel readers outside of the business, as well as we spoke about
There's nothing,
them
there's
purchase
nothing in the ordinance about them putting decibel meters out there.
in Dustin's. And
There
there-
certainly is.
yeah,
It
there
does
is.
mention that there's not a
Yeah, there's not a
requirement.
requirement.
Yeah, there's not a
that's
requirement.
specific. But if they choose to, and when we spoke with them, we indicated to them, it might be in your best interest to put one for your folks to understand that. Because if our officer comes and they have to use theirs, they may have to come closer to the premises within that distance, then they will. So as a reminder.
So you're giving them an option of breaking the law based on what the officer says.
No, the officer
No.
will have the tools in place to make the appropriate measurement.
It incentivizes them to self-regulate because it's going to be posted right outside showing.
Incentivization, it does not make it law. So it needs to be in black and white, and it needs to be in that.
Well, it will be
ordinance.
in black and white, but they'll be in it.
No,
It's driving
Justin just
an
said it's not black and
incentivization.
white.
Well,
He
the
just said they have the
decibels are going to
option.
be
They
to post
absolutely-
it.
Because if we have to require that, then we will be required to pay for those.
Dustin, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Is this ordinance, is it violated at the speaker, 75 feet from the speaker, or when it crosses the line and causes an inconvenience for a resident?
It is-
That is when,
It is indicated at approximately 75 feet from the property line.
so you are not, that's disturbing the peace. And yes, our officers can always do it. They don't have to do noise. They can choose disturbing the peace. It's a selective enforcement, lack of enforcement issue. And at 85 decibels, I have the screen recordings. I have all the reports because I've collected all the noise around my house for the last 2 months. And I can tell you that even out here at the homecoming, I could not hear the singers in my back office. But I came out because I didn't know what the thumping was. When he sat up here and spoke, he said, yeah, we were playing loud. I've got the screen recordings. I've got all of my instruments. It was the low sound. We were 897 feet away as a crow flies. I was still getting differences between dB, which is regular sound, and dBc, which is low, of 40. So yes, he was down here with the vocals. The bottom, So the caveat needs to be, they just need a quick, okay, what's the dB, what's the DVC? If it's plus or minus 20, it's too loud. So the offense occurs when it crosses somebody else's property line. Inside their property line, they don't break a law. Once it crosses somebody's, it's, so your ordinance says 75 feet away, there'll be a meter here that tells you what it is. But that doesn't tell you what's crossing a property
The
line.
meter won't be at 75. That
It'll
would be
be
up
on
to
their
The
that would-
meter
that
will be on their
That would
property.
meter be on their property to give them an
Right,
indication of-
75 feet
to
away
help
from the
some-
speaker, right?
That is gonna be up to them because it is on their property, give them an indication. That was the whole purpose when we had the discussion with them. So they could, the whole indication of self-regulation and the buffer area of 75 feet from that property will be up to the officer's discretion. It gives them an opportunity to use their meter.
Bill, I need to ask you, because this discussion could go on forever. I just need to know, when does the violation occur in your mind? Once it crosses into somebody's property or when it leaves the speaker?
Well, there's multiple violations, as you pointed out, Councilman. There's disturbing the peace, and then there's the noise ordinance. The noise ordinance depends on what you all collectively decide. The disturbing the peace is someone calls in a complaint, I'm being disturbed. The officer has to go to the complaining party, see that their peace is being disturbed, and then go to the establishment and talk to them. So there's at least two different violations, right? You've got the disturbing the peace, and then you've got the noise ordinance. And the noise ordinance is what I think collectively we all have to work on. Get as much input as we can, hear from the residents, hear from the chief, hear from the businesses. You know, we've struggled with this. We rewrote it. We took out the, whatever the decibel things are that because we didn't want that. We wanted it to be unreasonable. Now we're going to go from unreasonable to a certain sound measurement to give the police the ability to say, yeah, you're speeding, you're over the limit. So I think we've got to work on the legislation. I think we've got to listen to input from everyone, and then you all have to decide which legislation you want to go forward with. But it's not just limited to Commercial Point, it's everywhere. There's problems with noise legislation everywhere. And as we think about the future and as you think about your growth, you have to think about, what do we want for all businesses? Do we want a factory going in that's going to be putting out 100 decibels 24 hours a day, 365? Probably not. No more than we want a bar playing headbanger music for
All day.
all day. So it's a work in progress. And if someone wants to speak to it, they're free to come for public comment for when the statute's read. And I wish that they would. We need to hear from everyone to make sure we get it right. Because we tried last time and we thought we had a workable solution, and Alan thought it was workable and she thought it was workable, and it wasn't workable. And we're back looking at it again.
I wish the chief was here, but he's not. So if I'm allowed to, you guys work nights, I'm assuming, both of you, since you're here now. Do you guys get a ton of calls about noise? Just any. I'm not being specific, just
The last
any.
call we had for noise was a firework that went off a couple of days ago.
Okay.
Prior
So
to that, we hadn't had a noise complaint.
okay. So you hadn't had a noise complaint in months prior to that. So I guess this is my thing, just like with the firework thing the other day, is we were talking about with the fireworks that we wrote one citation. People are following the laws. We're rewriting laws that are in place. If we haven't had a noise complaint in months, there was a firework complaint. I know of 3-4 people the other night that told someone else that they had a noise complaint, but they did not call, obviously.
Because they're afraid of retaliation. That's the whole key.
Well, I understand that, Becky, but and I'm not, and like I said, I'm not discrediting. Believe me, I feel the retaliation. I get where they're coming from. I'm not saying that I don't. But let me finish, Becky. Hold on. I understand the retaliation part. Believe me, I can't hide. I'm here. I'm front facing. I'm public facing all the time. I can't hide. So I understand and can empathize with that, but at the same time, we can't just hear over and over and make a change when our officers aren't. They didn't even say they got anonymous calls. They said they got no calls.
But they're not gonna get calls because people are afraid
But-
to call because their names are given out.
But they're not even anonymous calls. Right now, we can take anonymous
You can't,
calls.
no, your name goes out with an anonymous call.
No, it
That's
doesn't.
Nancy. They can track your name on an
It-
anonymous
with-
call.
Yes, but that doesn't mean that we would know. There has to be, people have to be able to come forward. I understand that you're speaking for people, but it's difficult for a council to make decisions based off of someone coming and saying that I represent this huge group of people, but nobody wants to come forward except me. I commend me and you are a lot alike. I commend you and your bravery and especially what has happened to you, and I don't agree with it. I just think at some point we have to look at the facts that are in front of us, and I think sometimes we don't have all the facts, but in order to get them, we need people to tell us. We need people to, I don't care if it's an email. It's something to say, hey, look, I feel this way too. I have heard from a couple other people. I have, and I have responded to them. But we need more. And I don't want to be rewriting laws over and over again when the officers are telling us right now we don't even have a problem. Do I think we need something enforceable? 1,000%. Do I think we need it in black and white? Absolutely. But I also think that at some point we can only make a decision based off the facts in front of us.
So you're not gonna take my word.
No,
That's what you're saying.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying there has to be some, like I said, I don't care if you ask them to email us if they want to be private. I don't go around telling people your conversations between you and I, urge them to email me. That's fine. I mean, if you trust me and tell them to email me. I'm not going to go tell everyone who they are. I'm just saying we can only go off of what we're presented with too.
Andrew, did you,
Only
hold
one
one
person
second, one second, point of order. Officer, did you have something to say, or you just raised your finger?
If I can.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
kind of going back to the anonymous complaints and the callers. So we had a noise citation go to municipal court, and based off the ruling from the judge, they want us to go to the address of the complainant and verify that it is in fact a violation of said ordinance.
Right.
And I
There has to be a complaining party.
Right.
There has to be a complaining party.
You have to have a complaining
Yes,
party to have a
yeah,
criminal
you
violation.
can't, there's
yeah.
no violation without a complaining party.
So if they get past, we have a decibel rule, and the decibel says it's over
What
the
happens
decibel.
is they throw it out because if
Decibel
an anonymous person is not gonna give their address, then they no longer be anonymous. So he can't go to the address, so they throw it out of court.
I can't even sign on it. If I don't have a victim, I can't even enforce it. And I think that's where the direction, I'm not gonna speak for them, it's just my opinion. So I think that's where the direction with the current noise ordinance is we're trying to finite the gray area between a violation and not a violation. So whether or not we have a anonymous complainant or not, if we're a certain footage or a certain area away from that business where that violation's occurred, we can enforce that.
Well, that's exactly it, right,
Yes,
Becky?
They wouldn't need, they would just see it. It would be there. They would know. And if it was anonymous, they still have something to hold it to. They can pull up and say, oh, yes, they're in violation.
Here, to Becky, that when we met,
And see who is, okay, Ralph Holder, who used to be a council member here, got up in front of council and read the names of everybody who complained.
Becky,
People lived in fear. Nancy was one of them. Those people, I don't know about Nancy, but the others lived in fear of going out because they were afraid they were going to be retaliated against because it was blowed all over creation, their names. their names are not held confidential.
That was because that came from an attorney, just to let you know.
Yeah,
They're not
there's-
confidential
I
when
know
it comes to an
exactly where it
attorney.
came from, but
So,
that
When it comes
doesn't
from our
mean-
people, it's not confidential either.
well, yeah, they
that
redacted
doesn't
the
mean that it
names.
Well,
can't be
no, they
done.
didn't, because the person that they said I made a complaint on, which I didn't, they went there and said, the reason we're here is because Jay made a complaint on you, which was dead ass wrong. It never happened. I didn't
Just
make,
made it up.
Well,
yes. What?
I would just I want to go back to the actual ordinance itself. Becky, when you and Patricia and Nancy and I met with the police chief, he told all of us that the law that's in place right now is too subjective. It's opinion based.
Oh, I know the
And we're I know you do. And we're all we are trying to do, just like the officer said, is give clear guidelines that are objective and allow them to actually go out and enforce the law in such a way with where the people can I talk? Because this is our time.
Whoa.
My time too, thank you, I am.
What
one of your
I'm trying to
constituents.
explain to you though
Guys,
is that this law allows for them to go out and actually enforce the law so that the people that you are representing that want to remain anonymous are protected without having to go and make anonymous complaints and have their names go out and all these other things.
They,
I think
they
that
still
this-
have to make a complaint. It has
They
to-
don't. If he
That's
goes
what the
if he
lawyer
goes
just
by
said.
and
Because with this
thinks it's too
ordinance,
loud.
Technically, they don't. If the officer is driving by and has his meter, if it's reading,
You
he has
read
the
the
right
read the
to-
ordinance.
Talk to him.
This is getting a little out of hand,
Right,
the
well-
back and forth, we're way past order.
Order.
Come on, point of order. Becky,
No, he's not.
this is something I think we need to discuss more in a cow. I think we've talked it to death this evening. Please if anybody has anything, email, Courtney said email her. You're welcome to email me. You can email Bill, anybody on council. We can discuss this at the cow and at that time. But, okay. We're gonna move on.
Thank you.
Resolution number 26-2026, a resolution authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a contract with Pickaway County for services provided by the Pickaway County Building Department for the Village of Commercial Point, Ohio. I would ask if we could waive this. They did contact me again. This is just a benefit to the village. This isn't hurting anybody in the village. I would just ask for
Motion to waive the readings.
motion by Jay to waive.
Second.
This is just the waive the readings, roll call. Zeke,
Yes.
Dustin,
Yes.
Courtney,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
Patricia.
Yes.
Okay. Now, motion to accept.
Motion to accept the resolution.
Second.
You too, Jess.
Dustin, and Jay, okay, roll call. Accept it. Jay,
Yes.
Patricia, Courtney,
Yes.
Zeke,
Yes.
Dustin.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, that resolution has passed. Next up is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a change order for the contract with the Manick and Smith Group for data center research services and declaring an emergency. Do we have any comments?
Can we waive the readings on this?
Absolutely.
Make a motion to.
Make a motion. to
I
waive
think
the
we have
readings.
somebody who wants to comment though.
Oh, comment. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Couple of questions. What is the timeline for this study? And when will it be available to the public?
Yeah. Brandon is here. I know I did receive an email with.
That's clear.
He's
I did send an email, but Brandon, if you want, if you have anything to say to this, I know right now the timeline, we haven't even passed it yet. That's what we're trying to do right now. And as soon as, we have the findings, I think everybody should know the findings. That's the way it should be.
It'll be a public document. It'll be part of our
Yeah.
comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
And I also just want to go on record, make it a statement, nothing against Brandon. I feel a little uncomfortable knowing that his father is a developer. I've heard that he wants to put one in. I'm uncomfortable with Brandon being in charge of that study.
Brandon's
thought we
not,
were
Brandon,
told
he's
that-
not
point of
involved.
order,
He's
point of
the
order.
owner.
Brandon's not in charge of this.
He's
I've
not.
reviewed the professionals
We discussed
that
this.
he has put forward, and they are all very capable gentlemen, able to render the opinions that are needed to assist the council as they go forward.
Brandon, would you like to speak?
Just quick point of clarification. They're talented men and women.
And then when
We
Oh,
have,
yes.
the Mannequin Smith Group is 650 employees. The Trillin Company, group of companies is over 6,000 employees. For this change order that is attached to the ongoing comprehensive master plan that the village is undertaking, we have brought in both experts from the Mannequin Smith Group as well as two of our sister firms, because our team looked at the questions that were being asked by this council on behalf of the community and felt that these were the best people to answer these questions and help to build a foundation on which you guys can actually establish your policies. So that is what this is a fact-finding mission seeking credible information on the questions that are being asked. Also, as Dad got up and actually stated during public comments a couple meetings back, he is not, has not, and will not try and develop a data center that is factually untrue. And if anybody has any questions or concerns about his business or his philanthropic ventures in this area, he has asked that you reach out directly to him. He is not hard to get a hold of. He would love to clarify any concerns that this community has, because he and our entire family are dedicated to the well-being of this community. That's why I'm here doing what I'm doing. It's not because it's fun or easy. It's because I knew that if I didn't throw my hat in the ring and say, this is what I do professionally, let me help my community answer these questions, then somebody else is going to do it, and they might not care about our community as much as I do. And that's why I'm doing this. So please, if there's questions, reach out directly.
Thank you.
What's your time frame on this?
I believe in the contract, we put it at 12 to 18 months, but we dedicated it to matching up with your guys' moratorium.
We've been messing with this for about 3 months now, 4
Yeah,
months.
yeah,
That's why I want to get rid of it.
I know the comp plan, does that also go along with the study, the data center study? Is that gonna be the same time frame, or is that gonna be a more compressed?
We're gonna seek to have this as compressed as possible. I won't
hold you to exact
Yep.
time, I just wanted to make sure that it was, because I know we mentioned it's not gonna be as long as the conference plan.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the big defining factor of what's going to set the timeline on this is really those authors who have been selected to be in charge of gathering credible information, evaluating them for this community, and then trying to establish a document that can help steer some of these conversations. They're going to have to put in that work. And as of today, they've not been given the green light to do that. So once that green light's given, they'll get to work, and then you all can get a hold of the tool that then can carry you to the next step.
Can I ask it? Will there be any opportunities for concerned members of the public to see into the process a little bit as we go through? Specifically, I mean, I know that we have community engagement with the comprehensive plan, but separately, as we're addressing these data center concerns, will there be any opportunity even to include concerned public?
So I don't believe that the current contract calls for any public engagement on that front. It is a research study in order to establish what other communities are doing, what are best practices, what are government guidelines, what are best practices throughout the nation in these various components. We'd be happy to provide for you all additional opportunities for public
that would just be accounted for in the cost.
Could we try to
Yeah.
find a way to do
Yeah,
that to
please.
so that concerned
It,
members of the
it will
public?
be part of the draft comprehensive plan for all community members to have input before it's final.
Okay. I
Before
just-
that, there won't be as much on the technical side.
Okay.
But the public will have an opportunity to review, comment, ask questions about it. It's just gonna be, a little bit later in the process.
Brandon, we spoke about this on the phone. I had an email asking, why ours isn't site specific, where others are. Can you kind of talk to council about that conversation?
Yeah, so I know that the mayor had reached out to me with a question about whether or not what is being proposed here before council tonight is a site-specific evaluation of what could these impacts be based on properties. The answer is no, because you all do not have in front of you site-specific proposals for development. So in order to, for instance, when we were talking about traffic studies, in order to do a traffic study, you have to know how many homes are going in. That gets plugged into a calculation of looking at the number of trips expected to be generated out of a property on a daily basis. That number of trips then goes into evaluating the road readiness and the sizes and everything like that. Those evaluations of site-specific concerns have to be built on a proposal of what is being moved forward for construction. Right now, with the stage that things are at in Commercial Point, we know that things are zoned to be developed in certain ways, but you guys do not have anything on which to build a site-specific analysis, and that would be an entirely upped level of evaluation.
Well,
So
hold on.
is that like a legal thing for you guys? Then is that like a legal? Is there like legality of that? Of why, like, is that just something you guys have where it's like, okay, if they don't have it actually going into construction, we can't do site specific, or
So-
whose choice was that? I guess is what I'm getting
So
at.
not construction, I guess, let me choose my words more wisely. In order to do a site-specific analysis, we have to know at a property, what is the proposal that you are requesting for analysis? So we would need to know from the council, we want to know at this property, this, and this are being developed. These are the exact specs. This is what it's going to look like. Because if we're talking about noise, we're getting down to the nitty gritty of how many generators, how many AC units, how many buildings, where are they located on the
But we've received plans. We have received plans and submissions.
I'm
Like
kind of
that's
confused about this because I guess I was.
They're not accepted.
They're not
They're not
accepted
accepted
plans.
Phase.
And they're
So
not
what-
great.
So what he's describing is what they're looking at is what professional details we need to look at for that next phase to get us to that point. And that is another product that could be offered his company or other companies
Yeah.
to bring that in. Or if that's something that's requested on the developer side, which happens most of the time if they get to that stage, once those are coming in, because you won't know the water capacity, the sewer, the noise, a big thing, any exhaust. So those are the specifications that he's referencing.
And I think
Hopefully I'm
that's-
correct on that.
so we're
we could
so
put
we're
that on the
laying.
developer.
And that
Right, but in order, okay, so I guess I just want to make sure I'm understanding this. So if we had a plan, this is hypothetical. If we had a plan right now that was in the readings, say, would that is where you guys would do site specific plans, or after we pass it, then you would do site specific recommendations?
So we could do a site-specific evaluation on a property today if you guys wanted to make up the specs that we were basing that site-specific evaluation on.
If we use a major, we have a major site plan.
That's not on the major site plan. It's not
So
Well, can't two things exist at the same time? Can't we do a more specific on the plans we do have, and then a general non-site specific?
You can't use those plans.
this
They're
We
not
can't use the
accepted.
zone,
No.
the stuff
The-
they turned in
No.
for zoning.
Yeah.
No, you cannot.
Why not?
Yeah.
They're
this just
contending
doesn't
their
really-
their whole contention is that those are legally submitted documents.
Well, and that's, I'm gonna let you speak on that.
I'm not gonna speak about pending litigation. I'm sorry, folks.
It sounds like, and what I hope to be taking from this, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is that maybe you're then telling us that what you're doing is creating a foundation from which, when we receive specific detailed documents, we would then be able to use that as a baseline to make future assessments off of.
Yeah, if I can boil it down to a pretend conversation. My goal, similar to the comp plan, where we are giving you guys the goalposts and the playbook to get you there. Right now, let's just take noise since we've mentioned it a couple of times tonight. Right now, on the side of noise, everybody knows that noise is a concern, that they want to address noise, and that we want to know how this property is going to interact with other properties as it pertains to noise. Okay? But that's the extent of the conversation that can be had with anybody who's proposing a development of any kind right now. It's just, hey, we want to make sure that you're good neighbors. Everybody has the right to practice quiet enjoyment of their property. You know, we have concerns about how loud this is going to be at the property line or beyond. You know, generals. What this study is set out to do, and for the noise, I'll talk a little bit about the individual who's on the team in order to address that. The individual who will be addressing it professionally does nothing but noise impact studies for communities, particularly oftentimes related to large-scale DOT development, where we're looking at road noise constantly coming through a community and the impacts that could have, and looking beyond the project footprint itself on the community around it. So she's going to dig into all of the non-governmental agency best practices, governmental agency guidance. The UK has a bunch of information out there right now. The EU has established a bunch of good recommendations. We're going to look at what communities in areas that are heavily developed with data centers have enacted, what's working well, what's being received well. We're going to pull together, as Dustin has requested in his verbal communications at these meetings, the credible information on which you can then understand this is what is working well in other areas. Here's how they framed it. Here's what I would like to mirror, or here's what we should do. Then you can actually go forward and pass your legislation based on those best practices, or at least informed by them. But right now, I know some of the struggles that are being had as it pertains to this subject is we all want to do the right thing, but this is such a technically heavy subject matter that the right thing is not always significantly apparent. And so understanding what is working in other places and what is not, what governmental agencies, what NGOs are recommending to proceed with, that will then help you all to make informed decisions on behalf of your constituents in how your policies are set up to then guide those property level discussions.
Now, Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong on this one. I would use this as an example. So if we have a developer come in and we require a traffic study before we finalize things, this will help us to help identify what type of studies that need to happen prior to any of these plans coming through. We can request those studies at the developer's cost or requirement before it goes through the process. They're making sure we ask those right questions, we look at those types of studies, or we have any type of legislation during this moratorium process that will help with that process, right? To identify, to speak credibly to this. We can get tons of information from numerous different sources and we can be overloaded with it. Or we can have the professionals put us in a very succinct, hey, look, this is your playbook. This is what, and it's defensible for us to make those decisions based upon that.
Okay, if there's not anything else. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon.
Wait, I have one more thing. Sorry, quickly. I just want to touch back on this, what Zeke said, and I get what you were saying, Bill, about the public involvement, but I don't want it to be lost since Brandon said it was something they could do. I think what Zeke was referring to was concerned citizens specifically about data centers, them being able to meet or have some kind of community engagement around that. Is that what that's what you were
Yes,
saying?
that is what I
correct?
was talking
And
about.
that's
Yeah.
what you were
They
saying.
can
was-
do that as part of the comprehensive plan, right?
Well, it's two
We did
separate
talk
things.
about a town hall meeting, you know, we did kind of discuss
Well, but he
that,
said right
but-
now it's not in there, so I don't want to. He said right now that's not in the change order. I don't want to sit and vote for something right now and enact it if that's something that is important, which I believe it's very important, and that's not in there. So I just want to be clear before we
So are
move
you
on.
wanting one community engagement?
I mean, I'm just saying he said there's a way they could add it. I think there needs to be something community engagement around this topic, like 1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
I think it's more than one meeting.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't want to have a ton and add a bunch of extra work, but I don't want there to be one opportunity and someone can't show up that night and then you're just
Okay, Brandon,
whatever.
where do we go from here?
So, Bill, you're gonna have to tell me in terms of where we're at with readings and what can be amended in what's being read thus far. I'm happy to put together an updated draft of what's been reviewed thus far, and you all can look at that. Because here's the thing about public engagement. I'm 100% for public engagement. I'll say that behind the dice. It's complicated. It requires a lot of people, a lot of time, and it is complex to not only just have the meeting, but then take all the feedback and incorporate the feedback into those products that then get generated. So 100%, if you all want, currently what is proposed is a study of best practices, known information, you know, that these are the things that are working in areas that are stopping this, moving it forward, both ways. It's going to be a broad spectrum evaluation.
I mean, if I may make a suggestion, for me, in my perfect world, about how public engagement would work would be something similar to the idea of the steering committee, where, you know, maybe we have, you know, 3 to 5 appointed citizens that are concerned citizens that submit applications that are interested, and then they are just kind of read into the correspondence as you go through the process, seeing how the sausage is made, and would be able to share that information as you go.
Almost like honestly, it's what I'm part of at the high school or with the school district, the key communicators group.
Right.
So basically I go to a meeting once a quarter. I think there's like 3 or 4 a school year. There's a group of us, we fill a room and they go over district items, different things going on in the district, hot topics, things like that. And then basically our job as the key communicators is to communicate that out to, they do listen to ideas. We don't go on and get, you know, super one-off or anything like that. But then we take the information, we supply it to the community, or if we see misinformation, it is that what they want us to do is call that out as misinformation or contact the school like, hey, this and this is being talked about online. Do you have an answer? Get the answer, report it, things like that. I feel like that's kind of something similar.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you, it is a lot, and I don't want it to be a dump session. I mean, where we want to be progress
It has to move
forward.
within schools,
Yeah.
Like, for instance, and I'm not going to speak on this tonight, but our first steering committee meeting was held earlier last week, late last week, not earlier this week. Yeah. And we got 3 big tasks done during that meeting, because I'm a big believer in it doesn't do any good to cry on everybody's shoulders. We gotta move things forward. So we came in with a very big agenda and we rocked and rolled and got through all of that. I like the term key communicator. I think that's a nice term. If that's something that you all are interested in seeing added into this, we can do that.
No, that's gonna be separate legislation.
And I just want to clarify one thing. I want to make sure we're looking at two different products, right? So I just want to make sure that we're all two different products. Comprehensive plan,
Yeah.
which has its different process, right? And then the data center study for credible information. So two different things. The one begets a lot of public input. So I'm just trying to figure out what would be the best solution to bring into a study. I mean, they're studying other, it's not like they're getting our input on things. How do we make that look? They're actually doing study of other laws, ordinances, best practices, industry. They're doing that separately as a separate product. So I just want to make sure how that looks like input from our community. I'm not opposed.
Yeah,
to it. I just wanna
we-
make sure
we-
that we
Could
can
we
be
start
appropriate.
by emailing questions
I mean,
to
is
them?
could it be an email question? I just want to make sure that we're being appropriate on what we're.
Well, and that's why I'm saying I think that if we have, I mean, there are people in this community that have hundreds of hours put into personal research into this topic. They're passionate about it. It directly affects all of us, but some of us more than others. And I do think that we should give those people that are that invested an opportunity to have a seat at the table about a subject that is directly affecting them. I think it's just a part of us doing our due diligence as public leaders. And I personally, I mean, I would go back to the idea that I just kind of softballed out there, that we identify some of those key people who are like really like community liaisons who are not, maybe don't necessarily have that formal experience that we're going out there trying to outsource through you, but have their own personal experience that they're bringing to the table, so that they would be able to take in some of this information in a meaningful way and then distill it back out to our community and help guide your process too by saying, hey, this is something that we're thinking about. This is what this is how this affects us, and we,
Could it be something as simple? And if you're not thinking this way, I'm just trying to make it fit, right? I'm trying to make it work. Could it be something as maybe if we have, like during a land use committee, we have an update for that. We have that open forum that way, and member the team that's working on that can maybe show benchmark, show where we're at, and then maybe take some. I don't know if that's the appropriate venue. I'm just trying to make sure that
I don't know.
I don't know what the solution is. That's what
We have been 3 months and nothing has been done, and we get now to the second reading and we want to change it all.
I'm not.
Well,
what
to
are we
be
talking
fair-
about changing?
to
I'm
be-
talking
well, yeah,
about.
and to be
I'm
fair,
talking
the
about
second reading
attaching
is
2
the
or 3
time for
people
discussion, to be
in an
fair.
email
When you
chain.
when we originally went to the contract, what do you guys want to see? I don't know how many times we discussed that. What do you want to see? What do you want
Well,
to
I think
ask
we've
for?
all been saying
And,
public
yeah, and Brandon's
engagement
like,
is
yeah,
huge.
we've been doing that, and not one time was that ever mentioned. If it were mentioned, he would have put it in the contract. So now, if you're wanting that, we're gonna have to.
I think it's a separate change order. Point of
It
order. I'm
is.
sorry,
It's
Mayor.
that's what I was
It's-
gonna say. It's a separate change order. We can't do anything with this right
Okay,
now.
okay, well, let's just be fair right now. One, we're all new to this. Two, this whole process is new in general to everyone, you including, with the whole plan and the data center research and all of that. So, sorry if some of us have some concerns or want to address things during the second reading, which is the time that you discuss them. I don't think that, I'm not gonna brush off something. If it's a separate order,
asking you to
that's,
brush off.
I'm just saying, if it's a second order, that's fine, that's for Bill to say.
Paperwork for
But
what?
I wanna,
Oh no, I
our
don't.
community needs to be able to be involved. And I think everyone's been saying that. I'm not gonna cut it off. Thank you for saying that you guys can do it. I appreciate that, for flexing. And I'm sorry this is taking so long, but some of us are new up here and need to work through
And I
things.
just
Sorry.
want to reply, I've never said I don't want the community involved. I think they should be involved. But even when we discussed it in CAL meetings, it never came up. So it's been discussed, it's been discussed. I'm fine with it. I just wanna make sure, is that all you guys want? So he can come back with a contract and we can get moving.
I mean, I'm honestly, I'm still trying to process the fact that what I thought that we were doing, it sounds like that's not
Same.
exactly what we're doing.
It's different.
I thought that we
Same,
were
same,
trying
same.
to, I thought that what we were trying to do was develop a basis of understanding to see whether or not this rose to a possible nuisance. The data centers that the 13 or I think 13 data centers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
me
I mean,
too.
there's
Me too.
there's
I'm
an
just now
imminent
finding
threat
out that's
at our
not-
door, and I feel like
Yeah.
it is. I mean, almost embarrassing the fact that we don't want to address the actual elephant in the room rather than like and go through some strange parliamentary like abstract discussion about a data center that we don't know if it's going to come or where it would be or what it would entail, but we can't talk about it because it hasn't actually been legally submitted to us. And it's just even that aspect, and I know that has nothing to do with you, but that for me is frustrating for the fact that like I have the plans on my desk and you're telling me that we don't have plans to look at to present to them. It's just like, and I understand how you can get there, but why we're allowed for, I mean, I would put it back to you almost, Nancy, and is like, why is it that we've got allowed for this to get to the second reading, and yet still we're only now finding out that it's actually this abstract research study.
Contract too. You guys know how to read.
Yeah,
So read the contract.
sure.
But I think we all thought it was site specific.
You guys can
Yeah.
ask questions. You can't put everything on me.
I
You guys
never-
can
I
ask the
never thought of
questions.
site
Dustin,
specific.
I thought it was site specific. I had talked to people about possibly having
You need way more details
I thought we had
for
a site
that.
plan.
about
Maybe
possibly
site
having
plans.
community involvement. I had talked to people about, and honestly, even Dustin, I had talked to you about having community involvement, and you in our conversation seemed supportive of that. And now,
No, I want to make sure we have it appropriately, and because we're talking about two different.
well, that's why I
things.
said
So-
limit the
so-
stakeholders.
And I know, I just want to make sure what's appropriate for, like, how is that information gathered? Like, what's the process? Is it a few people that we have directed, just much like the committee? You have an open house, we need to be specific on what we're asking for, right? We didn't ask that at this point because the way I viewed it, it was a research product that was done with information that is provided. If there's opportunity for us to have feedback into that, I have no, I'm just trying to find the right avenue to go down.
Yeah.
So I'm not eschewing any public participation.
No, I'm not either.
If I can just read directly from since there does seem to be so page 3 of the document that's been public. I know public since you put it out on your mayoral page,
Yeah.
but it's been in the council's hands since whenever I sent it, a couple months ago. So under study limitations and intended use, there's a section that says the purpose of this study is to provide the village with an objective synthesis of all available peer-reviewed scientific and technical literature, regulatory guidance, industry practices, and documented experiences related to data center development. The study is intended to support policy decisions, planning initiatives, zoning considerations, and community engagement efforts by summarizing currently available information in a technically grounded and accessible format. The study is not intended to serve as a site-specific engineering analysis, environmental impact statement, health impact assessment, regulatory determination, permit application, or design document. The findings presented within the report will be based on publicly available information, public research, agency guidance, industry standards, and professional judgment at the time of preparation. So I sincerely apologize if that was not seen by everybody or if there was any confusion on that point. But given that this is such a complex matter, it's been our stance from the beginning that without something that actually does lay out the exact technical specifications of what is being proposed at the site, you're almost playing make-believe if you try and figure out what the impact of a proposed project is going to be, because those details, I mean, think about when people stand behind the dais with a development of any kind. Those details shift and are very fluid up until the point that they're finally not. We don't want to go and waste a bunch of the village's money doing site-specific studies on a very fluid, imperfect evaluation of what might be developed in an area. That's what is kind of driving the step-by-step approach that we understood you all to be asking for at the time of providing this document. I hear Bill saying that the public engagement component would have to be done under other legislation. I will commit to you all that if that's something that you can tell me what it is that you're interested in seeing, like if it is almost like a steering committee level,
Like a mini steering
ongoing
committee.
engagement
Yeah.
with a small group, I can get you a proposal for that work. If it is a public open house, for soliciting a lot of feedback and then taking that back and synthesizing the feedback from the community, I can get you a proposal for that. I'm here to serve at your will. So if you can let me know, and as the mayor mentioned, when the request for this original proposal that's in front of you now was requested, I think I only received 2 or 3 responses with anything that was actually telling me what it was that you wanted to see. So that's what we based this proposal off of. So if there were things that were missed, I want to make sure that we're serving the community in the best way that we can. I threw my hat in the ring back months ago when we first started talking about needing a comp plan, because I felt that myself, I was the most dedicated person, professional in this area that does this sort of work. I wanted to throw my hat in the ring to be a champion for this community. And I feel great about the professionals that the Manick and Smith Group has. And I think that we can do what you're asking to be done. It's just, let's work through what that is and let's get after it together.
I appreciate that.
Can I ask Brandon a really quick question?
You can ask it really slow
Sorry,
if
I'm
you need
just
to.
trying to think of working smarter, not harder. So the steering committee that we have, would they be able to receive feedback from people in the community, right? If they're already there and they're doing that work and providing input and being the voice of the people, could they do something like that? So instead of rewriting something, if we already have the tools, let's just utilize it differently.
It would just be a matter of accounting for additional meetings, which I think our proposal for the comprehensive plan includes what additional meetings would look like. So that would just be a matter of setting up more meetings for that steering committee team to be the voice of that community on this subject, as well as what we were already planning on tackling under the original scope.
And then my next question is, and if you have this, I apologize if I missed this, but do you have an email address where people who may not want to come and speak or ask questions, that they can just drop this email and it's titled whatever, and someone's working that email box, and I don't know, since Dustin and Zeke are on the land use committee, if they could be CC on those emails and things of that nature.
Yeah, so CP as in commercial point, COMP, COMP, plan, PLAN, at, and then it's our company's name, Manick, MANNIK, Smith, SMITH, Group, GROUP.com. That's been active since we first signed the contract for the comp plan. We have
You
a
said CP comp plan.
CP comp plan at ManickSmithGroup.com.
I thought you said POMP. I'm like, CP.
I think you gave that out last time.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yep.
wrote it down.
Thank you.
Yep,
Sorry.
absolutely. No,
I
and
missed that.
we haven't received any emails to that inbox yet, but we check it every day. So it's there to be feedback from the community. The big thing is that this is public engagement on this subject in particular is a big undertaking. And from a making sure that your budget stretches for the scope that we've already set forward, we need to make sure that we don't get bogged down in the data center stuff without getting that as an update to your contract. Because it can grow very quickly beyond the scope of where we're already at. And I just want to be realistic with everybody about the fact that
Have to have different legislation for the steering committee because that was just for the comprehensive plan. I would think we would have to have different legislation.
Well, I mean, the data center study can be part of your comp plan because it's part of your zoning and your plan into the future. I don't know they necessarily need to be separate. What we're talking about with this change order is just getting the science in everyone's hands and determining what the next step is. And the science is what everybody here needs. And if we want to do public engagement, that can be another change order. If there's something else that comes up in the future, it can be another change order. That's the beauty of change orders.
I'm sorry, I don't understand why it would necessitate a whole nother change order to just have
Different scope of work.
have a few key people that we identify as a group and say, hey, you know what? These 3 people, when you send correspondence out, as you move through your process of collecting and putting all this information together, that you just have them in the CC line. Like
It can be on us to do that if you want it that simple. You can put the responsibility.
like
on
I don't
us
think
to-
it really
to
needs.
identify folks that we want to share.
But are
information
we
with.
going to be that? Are we going to be that read into their process?
I mean,
Because I would like to be.
We could be. I would like to be. I think we should be.
If there are updates that come in, we can add whoever we need to. I think if it's that simple that there's a, group of folks or some constituents that we want to reach out to with updates, you can walk around knocking on doors if we want to. I mean, that's
Put it on the
responsibility,
website.
right? If there are certain
Yeah.
things that we want to do,
Yeah, put it on the
Yeah,
website.
Form
then
another
Okay,
everyone
well,
knows.
I'm good with that. We don't need, if that's what we can do and you're, you
I'm
guys
just saying,
are gonna.
I want to make
yeah.
sure that we address
feel
it
like that's-
appropriately without having to go. where
Yeah,
we
I
don't
feel like
need to.
that might be better.
And that came back to the question of, are you going to share this? Yeah, when we get it, we'll share
Right.
it. If anybody has
Well-
any questions, we can direct them to that email address.
Well, yeah, I like that, but I also want to make sure this isn't we're sharing at the end. Like I think with
No.
Zeke is like throughout the process, which is why I'm
Absolutely.
saying how read in are we gonna be throughout the process as things are coming up, as things are being found, send it to us. We can
Yeah.
just decide or
Yes.
put
As
on the
soon as we
cow
get it,
or
we'll
whatever,
distribute it.
or we can just put it on the website and everybody can. Really, to me, that's the best
Yeah,
thing to
I
do.
think as soon as we get
That's
it,
the
we'll
best. That's the
distribute it
most
to them.
transparent thing
Yeah.
that we can do is put it all on the website
And-
is when we
and
get
can
it.
we be sure if we do that email address is
Absolutely.
With it?
That's what I
Any
said.
questions,
Put it on the
concerns,
website.
comments, anything,
Here's
that
the
you can
email
go
address.
directly
There
to
you go.
that.
Well,
In
We can do that.
addition to that.
And I see what you're going after, and I raise you. If anybody, because as Councilman Miller has already mentioned, people have spent hundreds of hours doing this stuff. If anybody in this community has their favorite document that they've read on these issues, that they want to send to that email address to make sure that we've been made aware that this document exists, just in case there's one that we missed.
Right.
If anybody's dug into like the European Union's latest report on data center science, and they think that we might have missed it, send it to that email. We'll make sure that it gets folded into the synthesis of the research that's being done.
Okay.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. Before we had discussion, point of order, did someone move
No, not
No.
yet.
on anything? Okay.
Not
Did
yet.
you have anything or are you good?
I was just gonna make the same comment of asking why we can just bring the steering committee into it and use that as the public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We had a lot of fun at the steering. And
Okay.
data centers absolutely came.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Do we have,
So
do we have a motion to waive the reading?
Motion to waive the reading.
Motion by
Second.
Dustin to waive, Jay second. Roll call to waive the readings.
Jay,
Yes.
Patricia,
Yes.
Dustin,
Yes.
Zeke,
Yes.
Courtney.
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Dustin, Jay second. Roll call to adopt.
Dustin,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Courtney,
Yes.
Patricia,
Yes.
Jane.
Yes.
Okay, up for a third reading, resolution number 23-2026. A resolution approving the development plan application for Fox.
Hold 1 second, please.
What?
There's emergency language in this thing.
Yeah, we adopted the resolution, which included emergency
So we got
language.
So it
Just
goes
making
into
sure-
effect
just
now.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah,
making sure.
Just,
yeah,
so
I read that, I read it.
when you read the
Yeah.
I just wanted to
resolution,
make
you
sure we
read
didn't
and
have to-
declaring an emergency.
I just want to make sure we didn't have to get rid of it.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I'm
would
sorry.
start over because I don't know where I left off.
The third
Resolution
reading.
number 23-2026, a resolution approving the development plan application for Foxfire subdivision phase 5, parts 1, 2, and 3. You're in the back, representative, if anybody has any questions. Not, it's up for a third reading.
Motion to approve the resolution.
That's in the motion to
Second.
approve. Jay, second to approve. Roll call.
Jay,
Yes.
Justin,
Yes.
Patricia,
Yes.
Courtney,
No.
Zeke,
I can make my vote conditional based on something that they do, right? Like whether or not they.
No.
Yes or
oh.
no?
No.
Me too. Not pass. Failed. Okay, moving on to tabled items. Ordinance number 2026-06, an ordinance to rezone 110 plus 05, 110.05 plus or minus acres within the village of Commercial Point from exceptional use to plan unit district and adopting the preliminary plan and development standards text for plan district. Guys, I'm reading. I'm trying to.
I'm just confused right now. I'm just confused. You said that failed, but there were
Well, I
3
asked him.
yeses and 2 no's.
I asked him.
No, there were 3 yeses and 2 no's.
Okay, so it passed.
Yeah.
I asked, I looked at you and asked you. I was
There were
confused.
3 yeses
It was 3 yeses.
and 2 no's.
No.
So it's good.
So it
Okay.
Yeah, I was
I'm
just
sorry.
gonna say.
I was confused. I looked.
No,
at
he's
Kevin,
right
I'm like,
there. He's right there. He's still there.
I'm
I was gonna
sorry.
say when you said it failed, I'm like,
just
what
gonna
are we
say,
talking
This has been
about?
a very long night, and I apologize. I apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
no
Yeah, I know.
emergency. It's the third
There's no
reading.
emergency, yeah. Okay, we're gonna go on, I just read ordinance 2026-06. I'm gonna go on and read ordinance number 2026-13, an ordinance establishing a legislative process and public legislation registry for the village of Commercial Point, Ohio, establishing sponsorship, intake, tracking status, public posting, backup access, and related administrative procedures, and declaring an emergency. Ordinance number 2026-14, an ordinance establishing a public transparency and development registry for the village of Commercial Point, Ohio, establishing project intake, status tracking, public posting, update benchmarks, backup access, and related administrative procedures.
Yes. How long can something stay tabled?
Indefinitely.
Forever.
Indefinitely?
What
Until
do we do
somebody-
to? What do we
Can
do? That was gonna be
anybody
my
can-
question.
Can I motion to take it off the table?
Just
And
this
we-
last one?
Yes.
Well,
we've
no,
already read
2,
the
the
other.
last
Two.
2.
Yeah, the
Well,
last two.
I already
last-
read them.
We read the.
Well,
already read 'em.
okay, we gotta. We're new here, so we can't just be like. I'm sorry, but there has to be like some kind of direction.
But we
Like this is new to us,
We
so
have talked about
but
when
yeah-
it's tabled.
All right,
we
hold
have
on,
to take it
hold on,
off.
hold on. We're gonna go through the tabled items from the top once again. If someone wants to move on them, you can move on them after the title is read. Once it's tabled, someone has to make a motion to move it off the table, get a second, have a vote to take it off the table, and then a vote on the ordinance itself. Currently, these are tabled.
and we
after-
can vote on any of these.
After
any.
the mayor reads the first one, let's ask for comment.
Go ahead. I can read them again.
Read them again.
Thank you.
Ordinance number 2026-06, An ordinance to rezone 110.05 acres within the Village of Commercial Point, Ohio, from exceptional use to planned unit district and adopting the preliminary plan and development standards text for the planned district.
The developer has not asked to untable this one.
Correct.
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 And they're the ones that tabled it,
So
not us?
they requested
Correct,
it.
they requested it.
Correct, yeah.
And since the developer requested it, they have to be the ones to request it
Del-
off the table.
developer has to move to take it off the
Okay.
table.
Okay, for that one.
Yes.
Who
Okay.
tabled the next one?
We did.
Council
tabled the
did.
next
Okay.
two.
The
Council
next
did,
two
yes.
we did.
Okay.
Yes. Ordinance number 2026-13.
Hold on. You said now we gotta make.
Let her read,
I
let
Let
her
her
read
read
the
it
whole
first.
title.
You
Yeah.
said just the title.
Read it
This
for,
is
no,
the
the
title,
whole
it's all the
title.
title.
All the
That's
words.
just the number.
I know. Okay.
Okay. Ordinance number 2026-13. An ordinance establishing a legislative process and public legislation registry for the Village of Commercial Point, Ohio, establishing sponsorship, intake, tracking status, public posting, backup access, and related administrative procedures, and declaring an emergency.
I want to make a motion to untable this ordinance.
Courtney has made a motion to remove it from the table.
I second.
Tricia has seconded that. Have a roll call to remove it from the table.
Zeke,
Yes.
Patricia,
Yes.
Courtney,
Yes.
Dustin,
No.
Jay.
No.
3-2, so it has been removed from the table. Now, if you would like to, do anything else going forward, you can.
So if we don't motion on it, it dies, correct? Or do we?
It's been taken off the table. I believe it was
It's,
tabled at the second reading. Is that correct? I have to check. the
no, one of them was
legislative
the
record.
second, one of them was the third.
Yeah.
First read was the 4th, it was tabled on the 14th,
It was tabled at the first reading, 2613.
so, no, on the 14th,
That was,
Tabled on the 14th during a special meeting?
yes, I think so. One of them was tabled at a different time than the other.
Yeah.
Cause we
It must
tabled,
have
One of
been
them was
June.
tabled in June.
June 14th. It was the 14th, it was June 14th.
yeah, so one of them was tabled then. I think that would have been second reading.
Yes. I think, and then the other one was tabled.
The
in
other
third
one
reading.
was the third reading though.
Can we act on it though? Like, and just
You
say,
can act on it, you
Yes.
can make a
can
motion.
can I make a motion to deny that one or whatever the language would be to reject it?
That's a vote on it.
It's only up for a second reading, so it'd have to come up for the third.
Have to- Can they waive the, make a motion to waive the readings?
What's that?
I make a motion to waive the reading.
Second.
Second by Zeke. This is a vote to waive the readings, roll call.
Zeke,
Yes.
Dustin,
No.
Jay,
No.
Courtney,
Yes.
Patricia.
Yes.
Pass to waive the readings. Now, should I?
No, it
No.
doesn't.
Oh.
You have to have time.
Oh,
Yeah,
five,
it
waive
doesn't.
readings, darn it. Yes, you're right. Sorry, guys.
Well, so that one's
So
the
that
second.
one is the so that
So-
one will be a third reading
Read
the
it
next
next
time, and
time.
now it has been taken
Third.
off the table.
Right.
So it will be
Be
up
on
for
the third reading at the next meeting.
Correct.
But then this other one was at the the next one, right? Was at the third reading when we tabled it.
14.
Let me read it first. Ordinance number 2026-14, an ordinance establishing a public transparency and development registry for the Village of Commercial Point, establishing project intake, status tracking, public posting, update benchmarks, backup access, and related administrative procedures. Our last. I believe this one was the third reading.
Oh, both of them were tabled at the last. Oh.
Yeah, because I think this one had its third reading on
Yeah, I'm trying to find-
July
write it
6th.
down. Okay.
We have the meeting minutes.
I'm looking.
On your July sixth, third reading minutes, ordinance 2026-14 was read.
Okay.
A motion was
The table.
it
Yes.
on the third.
Okay, so this would be the
The
third.
third reading.
Okay, so I have read it.
I make a motion to
Take it.
take it off the table.
Motion by Patricia to take out the table. Is there a
Second.
Ezekiel.
I'm sorry, Jay.
Roll call to remove it from the table.
Courtney,
Yes.
Jay,
No.
Justin,
No.
Zeke,
Yes.
Patricia.
Yes.
Okay, that does pass since it was a third reading. Moving that from the table. How should I read it again?
We gotta wait for a
No, we
motion.
just-
So we, to read it? Oh, wait, but it's the
It's
third
off the
reading.
table.
It's off the table. I've read it.
But if you don't motion, it just
It just
dies.
Dies.
have a motion for 2026-14.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second the motion.
Jay made a motion. Dustin seconded it. Roll call.
Justin,
Yes.
Zeke,
No.
Courtney,
No.
Patricia,
No.
Jay.
Yes.
Okay. It's not passed.
2 to 3.
2 to 3.
2 to 3.
Three of us
said-
voted no.
3 said no, 2 said yes.
Sorry.
See, now you're getting it. Okay. So that one did not pass. Is there any additional business?
We do have one item at the bottom there regarding the special meeting minutes.
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
I know.
I had my writing all over.
I know that one was tabled as well.
Yes.
Do we need to untable it before?
Yes.
Okay. I want a motion to untable the approval of the June 15th special meeting minutes.
Motion by Dustin,
Second.
second by Courtney. Roll call to remove it from the table.
Zeke,
Yes.
Patricia,
Yes.
Jay,
No.
Courtney,
Yes.
Justin.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to make a motion to amend those minutes. On page 2, the vote says all in favor, and it should be 3 to 2, the motion passed.
Okay.
I make a motion for the amendment of the minutes.
Second.
Second by Courtney. Roll call to approve those as amended.
Justin,
Yes.
Courtney,
Yes.
Jay,
No.
Patricia,
Yes.
Zeke.
Yes.
Approved.
That was a motion to amend. Do we
Yes.
need to do a motion to approve?
Approve.
Yes.
Yep.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Courtney second. Roll call.
Zeke,
Yes.
Patricia,
Yes.
Jay,
No.
Courtney,
Yes.
Justin.
Yes.
Motion passed. Is there any additional business? Not, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
By Dustin. Second.
Second.
Patricia. All in favor?
Aye.